Welcome, everybody, to Bird's Nest Stadium on a beautiful Friday night. We didn't know as of about 3:30 Thursday afternoon what the situation was going to be here at Bird's Nest Stadium this weekend. We didn't know if we were going to have any football. Instead, we're going to be bringing you not one but two games involving your two county football teams. We'll start it off tonight as Scott County, with a record of 2-0, go up against a longtime rival, kind of with a degree of separation for the past 3 years, in George Rogers Clark out of Winchester. Clark County coming in with a record of 0-1. They lost their only game 15-13 to Southwestern out of Pulaski County last week. Scott County, of course, coming off a win over Great Crossing. We will get to them in a minute. Also, a win over Bryan Station does Scott County have in the bank, Derek Varney. And tonight, we're expecting a wide open matchup of two teams that have only known for about 28 hours they're going to play each other.
Well, you know what? I'm excited about this one. We were all very excited about Frederick Douglass coming in. You know, we like that rivalry. And then, of course, we went from, I was nervous about having no football to, now we do have two. And then, of course, they're bringing this opponent in with George Rogers Clark. Just always kind of been, cards versus cards, always kind of been a long time, goes back to my days of even, the basketball days in the foot. It was a heated rivalry and then kind of died off, kind of through the 90s and 2000s. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this Clark County team and exciting running back that they have.
Let's address the elephant in the room, as it were, the situation that led to this, and I'll try to do it without editorializing it at all, which will be tricky. Coming into this week, of course, they thought, as you mentioned, they were going to play Frederick Douglass. At Scott County, it was that's the game of the year every year in the regular season, as that has become the rivalry since Douglass came to be in 2017. Great Crossing was scheduled to go to Paul Lawrence Dunbar, also a Lexington school, obviously. As of Wednesday afternoon, Fayette County went into red on the map that's put out every day by the White House Coronavirus Task Force, which is usually aired at 4 o'clock by the governor as well. And the recommendation has been, since this fall sports season started, that the KHSAA kind of suggested you really shouldn't play sporting events against, at least that's my understanding, against teams from counties that are in the red.
That is correct.
That has been Scott County's policy from the beginning. So they immediately called off a soccer game with Sayre that night. They also called off a volleyball match on Thursday with Bryan Station. The data didn't change Thursday. It was still in the red. As of this afternoon, from what I understand, Fayette County is back in the orange, which means games could resume, but it's right on the cusp. It's like 24.8 on that 25 out of 10,000 scale that they use. There's about 8 counties in the state that were in the red as of midweek.
And a lot of this is coinciding with UK.
Campus,
right?
That's the big train of thought, that UK's cases, which are largely confined to campus. Of course, somebody did ask Governor Beshear yesterday on his afternoon presser, and he said, well, those kids are out in the community, so technically and I can see that point.
Yeah.
And it's a hard decision to make. Scott County's administration and Scott County Schools administration has committed to that. And so those two games could not take place this week. Now, that means the only other available dates for Scott County and Frederick Douglass will be at the end of the season. One will be the final Friday night in October, and the other will be the first Friday night in November. We're back. Not sure what happened there. We apologize for any technical difficulties. Don't know what came through on the air and what didn't, as far as we were hearing ourselves and what we'd said a few seconds ago. But anyway, Derek, we are back. And so that game with Douglass is going to need to be played at the end of this year. One of the final 2 weeks of the season. It is a district game. We assume that game will go on as planned. We're going to have the national anthem here, and then we'll get to the Great Crossing side of things. Great rendition by the Scott County Band of the Star Spangled Banner. Just to wrap up the thoughts on the Scott County GRC situation, GRC's open date became available. They were supposed to play Ballard in Louisville this week, and with the political unrest in Louisville, they elected not to play that game. The funny part is
Douglas.
Now Frederick Douglass is going to Ballard for an 11 a.m. Saturday kickoff. So
what a carousel.
So many, yeah, it's a carousel. It's a curious carousel, to say the least. But we are here with two really good football teams, and we'll get to them in a minute. Want to mention, if you hadn't seen already, Great Crossing, of course, they were scheduled to play Dunbar. They're now going to host Shelby County. The Rockets tried to play both Franklin County and Western Hills this week. Both those games fell through because of COVID complications. And Shelby County wanted a game, and Great Crossing wanted a game. And yesterday afternoon, they made one for tomorrow night at 7:30. It will be here on the Bird's Nest Broadcast Network at Bird's Nest Stadium. At the risk of losing all of our viewers, I'm going to tell you right now, and listeners, I'll tell you right now that Derek Varney is not going to be here tomorrow night. But hold the phone. We have a special guest. We will have Coach Paul Raines in the booth to do some analysis, and certainly having coached the Warhawks last year, he'll bring some knowledge. I'll just probably sit back.
A lot more knowledge, I will say that.
I'll sit back and let him do his thing
yes,
for
sir.
a lot of that game. That's going to be good. A guy I respect greatly, has accomplished tons and tons in high school football in this state, and we look forward to having him as my sidekick tomorrow night. And then next week we'll be back to the regular old Friday night schedule. Knock on wood. The Scott County hosts maybe, not now. It won't be its final home game of the season. Theoretically, they'll have to play Douglas down the road, but they'll play Ryle out of Union, Kentucky next Friday night.
Always tough.
They went there last year, and it was not a close game.
Right.
But Ryle was younger. They played an unforgettable regional championship back in 2016 when Tanner Morgan was the quarterback. Now, of course, at the University of Minnesota,
that's right.
All-American candidate. And he was the quarterback for a while, and that was a shootout, 42-40. We may see that kind of game tonight, Derek, as we mentioned, a couple of tough offenses to stop on one day's notice. Wing T is tough enough when you have a whole week.
Oh my God. Or you need about a month to prepare for that. For the Wing T, it's tough.
Great. George Rogers Clark, we talk about Douglas having a bunch of D1 prospects on his roster. GRC has at least 4, and they've got him at key positions. They have Azariah Israel, who arguably is the best running back in the state. He rushed for 2,346 yards last year, 28 touchdowns. I believe Coach McKee said he's got an offer from Miami of Ohio. I couldn't verify that, but he's considered a D1 prospect. Their quarterback, Jordan Manley, threw for almost 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns last year. His 2 best receivers, one is tight end Dylan Gibson. He's committed to Tennessee Tech, D1.
Nice.
Dawson Gay, the wideout, 43 catches for 715 and 9 touchdowns. He's committed to West Virginia State, D2. Their nose tackle is a guy named Trace Mitchell, Indiana State, D1.
Nice.
So they're going to be tough to run against up the middle. They're going to be tough to defend the pass. They're going to be tough to do a lot of things. They're tough to stop the run. They're capable of putting up some points tonight. I'm wondering how they only scored 13 against Southwestern.
Well, I was going to bring that point up. Southwestern's a great program. They really, and to even think about them almost beating Southwestern. I mean, 15-13, you get beat. That's quite a feat for them. So I'm very anxious tonight to see. And then being obviously us being here from Scott County, I can honestly say Clark County has not played anybody like Scott County in a while, and it's going to be, where you're looking at the Wing T. You're looking at a Jeremy Hamilton, and a Campton Martin. So it's going to be just as tough for them. That's what makes up a great battle here tonight.
Yeah, let's talk about that history a little bit. These teams played almost every year up until 2016. At that point, Scott County had won 19 in a row in the McKee. Their first one in that stretch was in 1997, McKee's first year. Before that, Clark County had won 8 in a row. GRC discontinued the series, or so I hear. Anyway, they were the ones that said, we're going to go in a different direction. They kind of really weren't traveling in the same circles in 6A football at that point in time. Now, of course, since then, Scott County has dropped to 5A. In one of their final seasons in 6A, they ended up playing GRC in the playoffs anyway, won that one 43-14. So it's now a 20-game winning streak for the home Cardinals. The visiting Cardinals have been slowly making progress. Dr. Oliver Lucas, there's another blue chip guy on their roster. The head coach, He's a guy who has a national championship ring from the University of Colorado. He was on Bill McCartney's staff back when they won a national title in the early 90s with that crew. I think Eric Bieniemy was probably on the team
sleeping
then.
with Bieniemy.
And just so a great legacy for him. He's coached at Manual. He's coached at Bryan Station.
Yep.
He's now, last year they got 7 wins, which was their most in forever at GRC.
If I'm not mistaken, was he the coach a couple years ago when Bryan Station beat Scott County at Bryan Station?
He might have been in
I think he
2014.
was. Yes.
Yeah, that might have been one of his final years there. And then 2017, the players that are seniors now played a freshman game, and Clark County won that one. So we could see any number of things tonight. Scott County will kick off. They'll go from right to left on your radio dial or on your TV screen.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about it. Now let's get after it. How about that?
Jacob Baines puts that ball in the air, angles it towards the 30, where it's taken in by the short man for George Rogers Clark. He'll get it to the 35 before he's stopped. I believe it was number 24, Kevin Wiley, on the return, and we will see the George Rogers Clark offense right off the bat. Jordan Manley, the quarterback, Azariah Israel, the tailback, Dawson Gay, the receiver, and Dylan Gibson, the tight end, as we mentioned. They've got some big boys up front, too. I see number 71, Tommy Wright there. He's a 260-pound sophomore. He stands out when he stands in the huddle.
Absolutely does.
And they've got some other
the wideout, Gay, you mentioned him. He comes from a long bloodline in Winchester. I know his uncle. I played against his uncles, and it seems like they've had one from the family each and every year.
They'll throw right out of the gate. It's a little bit low, and it's dropped there on the far sideline. Of course, it was intended for number 9, who's not on my roster. That might be Dawson Gay. He's listed as number 10 on my roster.
Yeah.
Hate when that happens.
Let's call him number.
There is a number 10 out there, so it's not Dawson Gay that dropped that pass. But anyway, it's 2nd down and 10 from the 36.
Power I.
GRC will hand it off to Mr. Azariah Israel. He is stacked up after a very short game.
I think Clark County is going to see and have to adjust to Scott County's speed. That's just the way this Monty McIntyre coach defense gets the ball is just amazing.
Israel picked up 3, and yeah, I think the same is going to be true on offense. Is that they're big in the middle, as we mentioned, with their nose tackles going to Indiana State, but. Question will be, can they stop the edge stuff?
Well, and that's what I was getting ready to mention. Both our ends are going to have to set the edge, and when you're running out of the power I, and right now, right now is a run pass option is what they're doing. So you just have to, your linebackers have to stay home.
3rd and 7, quarterback rolls to his right. He overthrows it, and A.J. Young was almost there, smashes the turf with his fist in disappointment, frustration, as he almost had the pick. Either way, it's going to be a punt for George Rogers Clark out of Winchester in the white uniforms, which, hallelujah, have black numbers outlined in red. We can see them nicely from up here. We love it.
I know you're saying we. I can make out a couple. Your vision's a lot better than mine.
I don't know. I'm not sure I'd say that.
But it is a lot clearer than when Bryan Station was here with the yellow numbers.
Need to get mine tested here. These first couple of weeks have convinced me I probably need to see the eye doctor.
Woo.
They'll be coming after, and I've been, and there it is. It's the block. Yep. I was told that was a weakness, and guess who? Campton Martin was there on the block. The recovery inside the 20, and the Cardinals are in business.
I'm going to keep pounding on it week in and week out. We say that people watch films on each other. The biggest thing is special teams for Scott County. And there has yet, a team that Scott County has played has yet to make an adjustment.
Campton Martin with another block punt to get SC going.
That's his 3rd this year.
I believe so.
That's his 3rd.
He had 1 PAT
and a PAT,
punts.
But you're exactly right.
First and 10 for Scott County on the GRC 18.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the Winchester Cards 18, the GRC 18. That quarterback is Zane Patton. He will pitch it to the left to Jeremy Hamilton.
Open.
Hamilton's got all kinds of room out there. It closed down in a hurry, though, and he's taken down after a gain of about 7. On the tackle was Kevin Wiley for GRC. And the one thing I didn't mention in the pregame, I got a little bit of a we were talking about Mike Bear Rogers off air. He gave me a little scouting report, and he said that he thought maybe they could block some kicks if they. And I said, well, that's funny because that's one of SC's strengths. And there was the run up the middle for Montego Jones. We're used to seeing that in the first couple of weeks. He's one of the top running backs in the state with 353 yards and 4 touchdowns. He makes it 1st and goal as he pushes the ball, moves the stack down to the 6-yard line.
Cal, if you get any information from Bear Rogers, it is just count on it, buddy.
Yeah, okay. I
Count
don't,
it. Lock it in.
I don't have to cross-reference it or anything. he gave me all this history on the GRC Scott County series. There's another run to the outside the other way with Hamilton. He'll get to the 5, but he couldn't find much room and couldn't find any blockers there, and there were 2 or 3 white jerseys to pile up on him at that point.
Clark County kind of resembles the Bryan Station game. They're big up front and they're fast. As you see, we're not getting to the – I thought Jeremy Hamilton was getting to the edge on that first quick pitch, and he did not. It closed down quickly.
A little better pursuit than I was expecting from
absolutely.
them. And as we mentioned that Southwestern game, they held them, a high-powered team, to 15 points in that one too. So SC might have their work cut out for them. Another pitch. This time it's to Campton Martin. He'll tuck it inside for the 6 points. 9:39 remaining in the first quarter, and Scott County is on the board. Campton Martin's 4th rushing touchdown in a week and 2 minutes.
Cal, that looked like a little student body left right there. He had so many people in front of him blocking. That was really nice.
So Martin's block punt put the Cards in business, and fittingly, he will grab the points on the 5-yard touchdown run. Jacob Baines will attempt the PAT. Snap is good. Well, Wilhite had to get a handle on it on the ground, but he did a nice job, and there's the kick. Tried and true, and with 9:39 remaining in the first quarter, it's your Cardinals 7, the visiting Cardinals nothing. Some of our sponsors.
Oh, the sponsors that we appreciate so much and couldn't do any of this without on the Bird Nest broadcast. Bluegrass Orthopedics, serving athletes of all ages. The home of Kal Oakes. Georgetown News Graphic.
Bada bing.
Absolutely. Denise King, certified public accountant for your tax and auditing needs. Brickhouse Properties Real Estate, buying and selling made easy. Chick-fil-A, home of the original, incredible chicken sandwich. TMMK. I'm going to stick with that, Cal. I'm not going to try to say
we're on an abbreviation basis with Toyota Motor Manufacturing
in
Kentucky because it's hard to say.
Also, thank you to Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel. Clark's Pump and Shop with 3, soon to be 4 Georgetown locations. Georgetown Community Hospital, where the health and safety remain our number 1 priority. West Banco, by all accounts, better. Greens Toyota of Lexington, great people, great cars. Think Greens. Oser Paint and Flooring, your hometown paint and flooring connections. Scott County Veterinary Clinic. We love and treat your pets like our own. Come join the Scott County Veterinary Clinic family. People's Bank, working together, building success. Come see us at 101 Canewood Center Drive. Time to Shine Car Wash. Your car will shine at Time to Shine Car Wash. 8 Lexington area locations to serve you. Steve Skierman, Kentucky Farm Bureau, ready to meet all your insurance needs. Burger King, home of the Whopper. 2 Georgetown locations, and Domino's Pizza. Check out our new Georgetown location on the corner of Champion Way and US 25. Thank you again to all those sponsors.
Another short kick and a short return, a little play action there out to the tight end. We mentioned him in the pregame, Mr. Gibson, but he got stuck immediately. And was it Martin or Young? Looks like it's Young on the tackle.
Young, nice
he kind of held his head getting up. I was a little concerned. Gain of 4. Got a little note while you were reading that. Someone came over and passed me a note that said, who is number 9 for GRC? I said, I'm glad we're not the only ones who don't know, because that is the great mystery right now.
You want to go with Jim McMahon?
Yeah.
The Punky QB?
The Punky QB known as
McMahon. That's right.
Handoff to Azariah Israel. He spins for a good gain up near the stick before he's taken down. It'll be marked just shy of there, I believe, at about the 43. So give him 3rd and 1.
Right. And you can always tell a good running back, Cal, because you see when on the first collision there, when he first gets hit, he keeps going. He's able to spin, and everything a good running back does is you're falling forward to gain, whether it's 2 or whether it's 10. He's always falling forward.
It was like Montego Jones last week. He only had 1 yardage of loss among his 200+ of gains in that game. So that tells you the center of gravity he brings.
Oh, it's good
penetration. And they are going to wrap up Israel for no gain, and it's going to be 4th and short. Bunch of Cardinals there. Number 9, Wilhite, indeed, a flock of Cardinals. I also saw 44 in the stack. That's Luke Colvin.
And I like this. I know I was going to say, Cal, what would you do? But when you got arguably top running back in the state, you got to go. I mean, it's early in the ball game. You know, I
think you've already seen tonight that punting is not going to be a good career move.
Right. But do you put it in the air here? Or you just go power I maybe and let Israel do his thing.
You got to play to your strength. The guy who gained
Right.
2,300 yards last year, he had 130 on opening night, and that lost to Southwestern.
Surely he can give them one, right?
Big
That's what they're
defensive
thinking.
play. Well, they give him 2 chances to get one here. This is the second. They'll hand it off to him, and he lunges
Ooh.
forward. But as you said, he keeps moving,
He does.
and he got past the 44, and
Yeah.
that will be a first down for Clark County.
Great legs, strong lower body, and that's what makes a great running back.
He just got down. Low man
Yep.
wins.
Yep.
And they will mark it at the 45. So a fresh set of downs for GRC. It is 1st and 10 from their 45. The Cardinals have surrendered their initial first down defensively, but good start, I think, defensively for SC too. They've seen a couple of GRC's main weapons, and they've held in there and taken their best punch.
Right.
We haven't seen a deep throw to Dawson Gay yet. Now we got a flag from the far side. Little conversation taking place. I don't know if it's a.
That's usually determines on that.
Yeah, sideline warning.
Sideline warning. Gotcha. Okay.
So no harm, no foul, at least for now. 1st and 10, it will remain with 7:12 remaining in the first quarter. Here on the Bird's Nest Broadcast Network, I'm Kal Oakes with Derek Varney. Drop back, deep throw down the left side. He's got his man, and a nice adjustment by number 14 to come back and get it. Jackson Bryan. That's not their number 1 or number 2 target that we mentioned, but he's got some good hands and some good instincts.
Well,
and he turned around and caught that.
You know what? Whatever string he is, Cal, when the ball is dropped in there from the quarterback to man, just a beautiful, beautiful throw. Is it Manley?
Jordan Manley threw a dime there for
throw.
a gain of 34 to the Scott County 21. 7 minutes even remaining in the first quarter. We've got a good one brewing. Scott County 7, George Rogers Clark nothing but threatening.
And as you see, Scott County's going to play Monty McIntyre's defense here, Cal. Where they're going to press you. They're going to come up on you. There's no safety over top.
Hand off to Israel. He just takes it up the middle again for a nice, solid gain of about 3.5 before the Cardinals wrap him up. Kevin Herbert, Isaac Krebs were there on the stop. 2nd and 6. Make it 5. They need to get to the 11, so they can get a couple of first downs without getting a score here.
Well, and we'll see what the long pass does for an offense. It opens up a lot.
Oh, absolutely. It softens up some stuff here in the flat. Manley's going to fake to Israel, roll to his right, and he finds his man wide open. It's Dawson Gay, post pattern for 6.
Yeah, that's a nice play. And I actually saw them pregame continue to work on that, and what they do is he's almost they're looking for him, but out in front of Manley there's about 3 other receivers that are 2 tight ends are dragging across the middle, and it's just a good play that you have to match up with.
So they are an extra point kick away from tying this with 6:05 remaining in the first quarter. And of course, Scott County's blocked some extra points, and they do it again. And guess who? Campton Martin. As if on cue.
That's number 4.
And he will keep the lead at 7-6. He is just a magnet, as you have said.
It's unbelievable. I don't get it. Not questioning coaches, but just I'm just making a point that it happens every single game.
I think it might be wise to go for 2 if you're going to do that.
Yes, that, or you have to put mano-a-mano there and make sure that you just get some time. You're talking a second or 2 to stay in front of somebody to get a kickoff. But Campton Martin, he comes without being touched every time, either on a punt or either on a point after attempt. He's untouched. He's quite the athlete.
He is a special player in all 3 phases. I'm going to start calling him Guess Who, because that's usually when we say a big play is being made by Scott County, you can say Guess Who, and the answer is Campton Martin.
That's right.
So George Rogers Clark will kick it back to SC. I kind of predicted a little bit of an offensive shootout tonight. I think so far so good in that respect.
Yep, and I think as we mentioned a couple games ago, how important the point after attempts are. Whether you're going for 2 or whether you're just trying to get 1, it
puts you in a position of chasing points the rest of the game if you're GRC.
Sure does.
As they are down 7-6. Martin and Hamilton back. They won't take a chance on them. They'll just squib it to A.J. Young, who falls on it at the 45 of Scott County. In fact, they'll mark it at the 46. So a short field for the Cardinals. You got to like that if you're Coach Jim McKee, and the offense right back in business. We saw a score by Campton Martin on the first drive. We saw a good run by Montego Jones. Of course, they didn't have to go far on that first drive, as the block punt put them inside the 20 in the red zone right off the bat from the get-go.
Have we gotten my boy Paul Garner sighting yet?
Not yet. We haven't seen Cam Lay. We'll probably catch both of them before it's over.
Run.
Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. A little Earl Campbell action by Montego Jones up the middle to get 4. And he made a couple of guys pay for it along the way. Ball will be marked. Now they'll move it back to midfield, so it will be 2nd and 6. Cardinals moving right to left. Zane Patton, your quarterback. He's a senior. Had a good week last week, 7 for 9. You mentioned Paul Garner. He had 4 catches. He's going to be split out to the left. And we have flags, motion. I think Garner might have moved.
I think so too.
That'll give back the 4 yards plus another and make it 2nd and 11.
Well, I see we have an offside. You know, we jump there, a false start, and I see a lineman replace a lineman, so it might not have been Paul Garner.
It could have been. We saw one run off the field. McKee beside himself over the 17 penalties last week, both after the game and then in a couple of phone conversations during the week. He's like, man, we just cannot do that. A little busted play there. I think Patton thought Hamilton was going to be there. He finds his safety valve, though. I believe it's Jackson Saylor on the recovery. George Rogers Clark sideline, and he made something out of nothing there. That could have easily been a sack. Instead, they get back to the what was the original line of scrimmage before the penalty. Now
it was midfield, right?
Yeah, they had a gain by Jones before the penalty, so it's going to be 3rd and 4. It'll be a long 4 from just shy of the 48. I think I might look at it as 2 chances to get the yardage on the ground, and it looked like GRC flinched there. I think the count got them off, and they might get the 5 the easy way.
Yep, little encroachment there. Step it off.
Indeed. There we go. They will move the sticks on the penalty, so it'll be 1st and 10 at the 43 now, as they have moved into GRC territory. Have your Scott County Cardinals.
Didn't even have to use any manpower on that game, did we?
None whatsoever. Get it the easy way.
Right.
We're going to have a timeout. Not sure if it's an official's timeout for hydration or what it is.
Yeah.
Cardinals in the home red with the black numerals, as they're looking for their 3rd win this season. They've had, they played a 6A opponent in Bryan Station. As Coach McKee likes to point out, a 5A school with 6A enrollment in Great Crossing. They've got another 6A here in George Rogers Clark, and then another 6A next week at Ryle. So they're being tested early in the season. All their non-district games have been against 6A schools. They're scheduled to play Ballard and Lafayette down the road. Of course, we'll see how all that turns out with various and sundry factors playing in there. But the Cardinals, as usual, putting up impressive numbers early in the season.
Well, and as we were impressed with Bryan Station, they come out last week, and I saw. Or by the way, go to WKYT's high school game time tonight.
They wrecked Tate's Creek last
Absolutely,
week.
They really did. And that's where I saw that, and I saw how well they played against Tate's Creek. And
Tate's Creek, I believe, was a district or regional finalist last year.
Yes.
They got to the 3rd round of the playoffs. There's a run up the middle. Jones pushing the stack forward inside the 40. It reminded me when you said Bryan Station, GRC was regular season champion in its 6A district last year, which includes Bryan Station. It includes Madison Central and Oldham County. Maybe not, it's certainly not the Louisville 6A district caliber, but it's to go 3-0 in your district in 6A is impressive. Quick out to Garner.
Here we go.
He gets away, but an ankle tackle will stop him at the 35. Nice stop by number 24, Wiley, again on the tackle for GRC.
He hurt himself a little bit.
I was going to say, he's slow getting up. I was worried about Paul Garner.
Yeah, both of them got bent it was kind of a weird tackle, and Paul's going to get bigger and stronger just being a sophomore, that he's going to be able to break that tackle.
It's 3rd and a yard. Jones gets that yard and about 7 more down to the GRC 28. So it'll be 1st and 10, and they're getting close to scoring range once more, as this is the second drive of the night, second march of the night, certainly the longest one so far.
And if you've never defended the wing T, Cal, you'll see the defensive linemen, as before mentioned, the defensive linemen get really tired.
Especially when you can run it at the tempo that they have the past 2 weeks.
There
There's
we
the
go.
sweep to Martin.
Nice.
He's got a lot
Good
of room
block.
on the right edge. He cuts it back inside. They'll have another first down at the GRC 16.
And I don't know if that was Garner out there on the edge, but it's so important to stay on your block with that play, especially that play. They know what, obviously our guys know what's coming, but to stay on your block and just give that, just that little pause in the for the safety not to be able to get to not to be able to get to Camden Martin. He did a good job with that.
Jones forward, doesn't get much there, maybe a yard before the heart of the GRC defense meets him. But that's what Scott County does. They hitch up the middle, they go left, they go right, they just mix it up, and they do it quickly. That's what they didn't do against Bryant Station. I think that was the biggest downfall in week 1, but certainly last week against Great Crossing, and now you're seeing they're getting more into that midseason form as far as the tempo.
Oh, absolutely.
Second, and we'll call it 2nd and 10, so no gain for Jones on first down. Now comes the toss left to Hamilton. He doesn't have much room. He will stretch the ball out to about the 13. It's going to be 3rd and long. We've solved the mystery on number 9. He is Braxton O'Hara for GRC, so we're glad to have that answered.
And then number 10 is
Dawson Gay, who had the touchdown.
Had a touchdown, right.
We'll have 3rd and 8. Call it 7, I guess, from the 14. They are in field goal range, but they've also got 2 chances of the first down, and they've been pretty prolific up to this point, getting the yardage on this drive that they need.
I haven't seen the tight end over the seam play.
Here comes Hamilton right, and he's got tons of room to the stick and beyond. He stretches and reaches, and he'll only get to about the 1 shy of the end zone, but in the shadow of the goalposts are the Cardinals once more. Good run by Jeremy Hamilton.
Very good run.
Hamilton, the junior, of course, multi-sport star. He's got an offer for football from the University of Cincinnati already. They will run this play quickly. It'll be Jones, no surprise, reaches out, stretches. Everybody's signaling touchdown except for the guys in the stripes, and he finally comes in from the sideline and says, yes, it is the 5th touchdown of the season for Montego Jones. And with the extra point pending, it is 13-6, Scott County, 2:04 to play first quarter.
Referee said, let me get a closer look here.
He had to wait for a couple of those big bodies to get off the stack, I guess.
Our linemen don't have any problem standing up hollering, touchdown.
No, there were about 7 of them trying to help him out.
I promise you he's sober.
Hands in the air, waving back and forth like you just don't care.
Like you just don't care.
Bainge is good with the kick. He was 7 for 7 on PATs last week. He's 10 for 10 on the season, and it is 14-6, Scott County. The Cardinals are impressive on offense so far. They are going to have to come up with some answers on defense. GRC is going to score a lot more than 14 points tonight, I believe. So
well, and you also notice that we've had 2 possessions we've scored, and there's been 1 penalty compared to last week. We had over 100 yards.
They have cured that for sure. They've only had the 1 that set them back, and they quickly erased it.
Right. Makes a huge difference.
Once again, remind you that tomorrow night, same time, same bat channel here at Bird's Nest Stadium, 7:30 Saturday, we'll have Great Crossing in a game that was not on the original schedule. They'll be hosting 4A Shelby County. The Rockets will be coming in. They were so desperate to get a game. This is the 3rd time's a charm situation for them, as they had a couple of trips to Frankfort that fell through. But Great Crossing will gladly pick up a game. They've even tried to pick up a game for next week, which is their scheduled bye. But as of now, nothing has happened. Short kick by Bainge, as they're content to do that tonight. Seems like a little bit of a run back,
nice
though,
run.
From the 30 all the way out past the 45.
Our outside man cut in too quick, Cal. Were you supposed to use the sideline there as a defender as well and make sure everything is in front of you and doesn't get to the outside of you? That's what happened.
That's the whole point of that short kick is get your guys there and not really give them a wall to run through, basically, but a little bit of over pursuit. Next thing you know, GRC's out to the 46.
And again, we got press coverage over here on the 2 twin wideouts with with no safety over top. So that's just there's going to be some more long passes.
Inside handoff, put on the
fumble.
ground, man. Azariah had to go pick it up. Azariah Israel. Manuel made the handoff, and there was kind of a miscommunication on the exchange, and they will lose yardage, 5 yards out of that, and be 2nd and 15.
Kind of dribbled a little bit there, didn't he?
Yeah, and there was a Scott County Cardinal right there.
Right.
So it was a little bit of panic for Mr. Israel, who averages about 8.5 yards a pop last year, and then did much of the same to start this season. He had to work for those 130 yards against Southwestern. I think he had 32 carries. And it has been not a lot of easy going for him tonight. He hasn't had many gains longer than 4 or 5 yards to this point. He'll get the handoff again, and he will spin right into a solo tackle by A.J. Young.
Wow.
And he's been the leading tackler so far this season. He's had some help from Andrew Wilhite and Kevin Herbert and some others, but with 12 tackles coming into the night, and I've seen at least 2 solos so far.
Mr. Young will put a hat on you. He really will.
He'll put a world of hurt on you. 3rd and 12 from the 44, GRC, shy of midfield, and they've already had 1 punt misadventure tonight, so they would love to pick up the first down if they could. They've got some receiving weapons, as we've mentioned, and probably will mention again.
As it's going to happen here, they're going to, got Manley back in the shotgun, and he's got quite an arm. They like getting him out of the pocket.
He's got pressure all over him. He underthrows it a little bit, and Campton Martin makes him pay. The 4th interception of the season. Mr. Guess Who runs it back past midfield to the 45 of George Rogers Clark. Campton Martin, blocked punt, touchdown, interception, all in the first quarter. There's your hat trick.
Are you unwrapping that award over there beside you?
That might be. Campton Martin with the first quarter hat trick for Scott County.
Cal, I don't know if anybody saw who's watching, but one of the most impressive things was a stiff arm he threw at the end of the play right there that literally lifted the tackler up off his feet. He's just a strong kid.
Unbelievable stuff.
Just strong. Well, Manley Manley was under pressure and, did a cardinal sin, of course. Throws off his back foot.
Scott County in business. Jackson Saylor going to bury Sanders at the other way, but now the pursuit is going to catch up with him. He ran about 20 yards to lose 3 there, and that will be the final play of the first quarter. And your score at the end of that first quarter will be Scott County 14, George Rogers Clark 6 here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. Again, a good crowd here despite the COVID restrictions. You've got the two per person, 2 per participant, but a good representation on the Winchester side of the field. Where they got about a 45-minute commute here.
Yep, if that. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe 35.
Straight 75.
And of course, the home crowd looking and sounding good as well. They've seen a good one so far. Scott County on top 14-6. And threatening again after the interception by Campton Martin, his 4th of the season.
Oh, that's after 2 block kicks already.
2, 3. He's blocked. That's right. He actually, it was more than a hat trick. It was a grand slam, I guess.
Some people don't get that in a season. He's doing it in a quarter.
Unbelievable.
Coach McKee will get them with 2 or 3 plays right here out of the huddle.
Yeah, I was going to say that you can see the scripted nature. It seems that way anyway of the offense these past couple of weeks. Is they know what they're going to do on 2 plays down the road, and it becomes a chess match where you can see ahead on the board a little bit. Here's a run to the right. Another counter with Hamilton that didn't gain much as GRC's onto that all of a sudden.
I'm ready for a little tight end seam right here.
Well, it's your favorite play, and this might be the time for it. I mean, they're probably not going to bite on the play action on 3rd and 12, but you never know.
Not right.
Less than 30 seconds into the second quarter, SC trying to build on a 14-6 lead. They're in GRC territory at the 45.
Got Garner wide. Closest to us here.
Hamilton in motion. Now they will fake to Saylor. He will double pump, and he will overthrow Garner in the right flat. It will be 4th and long, and I believe Scott County will punt as McKee throws down the placard in disgust. 11:20 to play.
Again, pressure on big time pressure. They defended it well downfield, with the tight end as I was talking about the seam play there. And but I like how Zane Patton is able to, first option wasn't there. Garner was open. He just, under duress, throws it over his head.
Yeah, he had pressure coming from both sides
Absolutely.
and had to get rid of it, and well covered downfield was Garner. Martin, guess what? He punts too. He didn't get much chance last week. Didn't get any chance actually.
Left-footed.
And a good one angled toward the left corner. It'll be caught at the 13 and just no
nice.
return because great coverage downfield. Is that Will Height? Yes, it is. Andrew Will Height.
He's he's guess who too, right?
No, you know what? It might be Zane Patton. Yeah, Bill Holland corrected himself too. Can't tell the difference between 8 and 9 up here. That is number 8 according to the helmet. So that's Zane Patton, the quarterback, getting down there.
Wow.
So
he did get down there.
He got some great coverage. I thought sure it was Will Height. Bill thought it was Will Height. But it's going to be a first down for GRC at its own 16. They've got a long way to go with 11-11. Make a wish to go in the second quarter.
Well, getting up off of so many tackles is Andrew Will Height, so I think
we're used to seeing that, as we mentioned.
Yes.
A.J. Young and Andrew Will Height, the leading tacklers for this team. And they sometimes put a hurting on themselves as much as the opposition. I'm sure those are two guys that wake up Saturday mornings and say, man.
Yeah, I am sore.
I like to get the license plate number of the truck that got me.
Right.
We're having a little conversation down there. I don't know if they're going to mark something off or discuss where the spot's going to be or what we're doing here. Checking the ball is Dickie Rawdon down there getting the right ball in play. And they are going to mark off a penalty against Scott County. And it's a big one, a 15. I don't know if I don't think that was fair catch interference.
No, but it seemed like he got there awful quick. I don't know.
They're laughing at whatever was said over the PA to announce the penalty. But at any rate, GRC will have 1st and 10 at the 31. Love some clarification on that one. Israel goes in motion, direct snap to number 9, O'Hara, but he is wrapped up by Cade Tackett.
Nobody fooled.
Number 43, nobody at all. They ran kind of a wildcat play, and also number 41, Elijah Adams there, as 2 Cardinals were all over it, and it will be a loss. Back to 2nd and 12 at the 29. So a little different look from GRC there, but as you said, no deception as far as Scott County is concerned. Now Manuel back under center. He's got Israel as the lone setback.
He's in shotgun.
He is. He will look to the right flat, a high throw that Gay had to go up and get, and that will he cut it inside real quick like. And here comes a flag from the far sideline very late after the play was over.
It could be us as a late hit.
I think it's a hold. Look like he's signaling a hold.
I was wondering how the pass wasn't that good, so I'm thinking our defender out there is going to get to him.
They are marching it off against Scott County.
I think it's a late hit.
Okay, maybe he did this instead of this. Yep, they was giving him a 15-yard face mask, so that's why he came down so quickly. They took Gay down after about a 3-yard gain, but when you tack on 15 more, it'll be a yard shy of midfield. 10-14 to play, second quarter, and GRC on the move again, down 14-6. The Cardinals out of Winchester, 0-1 out of Class 6A, playing their second 5A opponent of the season. A little inside handoff counter. He faked left and went right, did Israel, but he's wrapped up fairly quickly. No gain, in fact.
So far, so good at defending him. He has not had a clean. We haven't seen him break away. We haven't seen him. What's been his longest run?
About 5 yards. And the way that play was designed, he was 5 yards in the hole to start it, and he didn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. He's going to be marked about a yard shy of the first marker, so it'll be 2nd and 11 at the 48. GRC taking its sweet time getting plays in here. Using up most of the play clock. It's down to 6, now 5. Under center is Manuel.
you're going to see him go up
Straight
top here.
drop by Manuel. Now
of
he's in
pressure.
trouble under
Atta baby.
duress, and he's going to get sacked. It was not a design run as he was looking for a receiver and couldn't find one downfield. Kevin Herbert was there.
Just great
Spencer
penetration.
Wood will get credit for half a sack there as well. He'll be back at the 44. It's going to be third and a good bit, 15 yards for GRC.
Third and a little tad long.
Now they've got some receivers that can cover that.
Yes. But again, he's not getting Mannon's not getting the time to set. Now the one that he did get time on, he completed the long pass. The next long pass he threw was the interception to Martin.
Pretty big advantage up front in the trenches for Scott County so far, it would seem. Shotgun snap to Manuel, quick pass to the right side. He made a man miss, and there goes.
He's very fast.
Down the sideline to the 20.
Is that Mr. Gay?
No, that is not Mr. Gay. That is Johnson. I don't even have him on my roster either. This is troubling, and it came straight from George Rogers Clark's website too. The problem with the KHSAA website, if you've ever been on there, it's alphabetical, and that does us absolutely no good. So it'll be a 1st and 10 after the long gain. Long pass by Manuel gained 30 plus to the Scott County 19. So George Rogers Clark in the red zone, threatening maybe to tie here. You'd think they'd go for 2 if they would score.
Sure.
As much of an adventure as kicks have been already tonight. Hand off to Israel. He will spin for another gain of 4, make it 5, down past the 15.
He's a workhorse, isn't he? Jeez.
He can do it all.
Yes.
They will run him up the middle. They will run him left and right. He blocks in pass coverage or on passing plays, I should say.
The long pass, the long game that they got, they decoyed him out to the left, and I thought that's where the screen was coming, and then they throw back to the right side of the field.
They can do a lot of things offensively.
Yes.
They get a lot of nice looks. They're going to mark it at the 15. It'll be 2nd and 6. Manuel has time and has a man, and it's his big tight end over the middle, Dylan Gibson, and it is a touchdown for the visiting Cardinals.
We are absolutely struggling to cover the rollout. That's 2 rollouts and 2 touchdowns.
That's a touchdown for Gay and a touchdown for Gibson, and it is 14-12 pending the PAT. We've got a good one brewing here at Bird's Nest Stadium once again. Looks like they will. Is that a T? I guess they're not going to chase points. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I got to correct myself. It is Jordan Manley, the quarterback. I've been saying Manuel. I got DuPont Manuel.
DuPont Manuel. There you go.
Or Lionel Manuel from New York Giants fame back in the 80s. We're going to have a timeout before this PAT, as I don't think GRC was really clear on what they want to do here.
Well, they do not want another kick blocked in this game since they've already had 2.
Well, that would set you back a couple.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you're already down 2 because of that.
Coach Lucas knows the importance of this one right here. More so than the first one.
Yes, because this can either tie it or put you – because if you don't get it here, Scott County scores and has just about an automatic kicker. Now you're down 2 scores,
right.
21-12. So you already got to think about that. 7:05 remaining here in the first half. It's a 2-point lead and a chance for potentially a 2-point play here for Clark County.
I'd like to remind everyone to wear your mask at all times while on the school property.
I would kind of keep it simple if I was Clark County. Of course, this is just my opinion. The rollout is hurting us.
They've got the Wildcat formation again.
He may raise up and throw this out of the Wildcat.
Or do the Tim Tebow jump pass, or he's just going to keep it and go at the heart of the defense, and he will stick his helmet in there and score. Will Mr. Braxton O'Hara, senior. And we are tied at 14.
Cal, you sure called it. You said you expecting a high-scoring game.
I think so. I mean, and actually, it's not been as high-scoring as it could be. Both teams, Scott County had to punt. GRC tried to punt once. They threw an interception. So we've had more series than have actually ended in scores. But I think as the night goes on, I think the offenses are going to be. I don't think their advantage is going to go away.
No, and I do think Monty McIntyre knows, that the tight end dragging on the rollout is what's hurting him. That's what he's doing. He's rolling and he's throwing at the man dragging. What I mean dragging is the receiver coming behind him across the field. So that's who he's hit the last 2 times for touchdowns. So they're going to have to make an adjustment there.
14 apiece, 7:05 to play, and there will be adjustments made. That thing about halftime tonight is there'll be a pretty serious X and O session, I would think, considering both teams didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare for this game. Kicking away is GRC. We've got a tie ball game. Scott County, it's a squibber. They'll have the option to take it at the 35 or make them kick it again. Actually, it went out of bounds shy of the 35, so I don't know if they'll let them take it there. They'll mark it right at the 35. So I think the Cardinals will take the ball. Something to think about. They would be in line to get the second half kickoff as well. So if they can score and drain a bunch of this time, they could put themselves in a position to stretch it out a little bit. But we got a long way to go. And, of course, Scott County has, even though it's a run-oriented offense, they make a habit of scoring quickly.
Yes, and I know Coach McKee is stressing the tempo right here because, you don't want to – obviously nobody wants a turnover, but now Scott County's offense has something good going. They haven't been stopped.
Ball is marked at the 40. Patton will take the snap there, hand it off. No, he will hand it off to Montego Jones, and Jones will get stacked up by the heart of that defense. The heart of that defense led by that nose tackle we mentioned that is committed to Indiana State, Trace Mitchell. It's a loss of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11.
And Trace Mitchell, he's got a task tonight going up against, Ethan Miracle.
Well, you got Ethan Miracle at center, and he's got help on either side. Yeah. It's a 265, 270 pound line most of the way across.
Right. And they're doubling. They're doubling.
I kind of lost track of who had the ball. That was a good fake. It ended up being Hamilton, I think.
That's what.
No, it's Jones.
It's Jones, but
it's Jones, but it wasn't that straight ahead run by Jones. It was kind of a counter left.
And if you watch what they do, that's how important carrying out your fakes and doing the whole and running the whole play right there is. And I know Coach McKee's big on that. Even though you give the ball off, Zane Patton, you better give that fake to Jeremy Hamilton coming around on the jet sweep because we're eventually going to not give it to Jones, and we're going to give it to Jeremy Hamilton.
Patton does a really good job selling the fake as if he's even got the ball himself a lot of times. 3rd and 5, and now we have another timeout as McKee wants to talk it over. 5:47 remaining in the second quarter. Jones, as we mentioned, the leading rusher, but coming into this game, Hamilton and Martin both over 100 yards for the season as well. Patton, 7 for 9, throwing it last week. He's completing about 50% of his throws through 2 weeks. So it's a fairly diverse offense, all things considered, for Scott County. They've only thrown it once tonight, or I think twice now. Big play early in the game, 3rd and 5, midway through the second quarter of a tie ball game, 14 apiece. Couple of old rivals that are playing on short notice. As we mentioned, the series goes back to 1968. The very first game in this series was an 18-18 tie.
Oh,
that was some history that I learned from that little graphic info box that Mr. Rogers sent me today. 26-11-1 is the actual series count in favor of Scott County, and the last 20 have gone to SC.
Pretty good. It's a pretty good streak.
Patton, all by himself, bootlegs it. Can he get the first down? Yes. Nice stiff arm.
He's fast.
Gives him the edge, and he does have some speed to the corner. He'll get past midfield. Now, in fact, it's a gain of 10.
You know what? And that's just another wrinkle in Scott County's offense that we really haven't seen.
Now I'm second-guessing myself. Was that a direct snap to Campton Martin? Anyway, it's a gain of 10. First down, Jones up the middle.
You know what? I think you're correct because
I think I second guessed myself correctly because I think Patton came in with that play from the sidelines, and the way Martin's doing everything else but
Yes.
selling popcorn,
sure.
we'll give him credit for that. Anyway, Jones with a gain of 6. It's down to the GRC 39 now as SC on the move once more. This is their 4th series of the night. They've scored twice. They had to punt after getting stalled right about here last time. Another hard run for
There
Jones will get the first down. And that's what when Scott County's at their
Yes.
best, they can get him into a rhythm.
Sure.
Pound
And it's
away
hitting
3 or
that
4
edge.
times.
It's hitting the edge with Campton Martin on a direct snap. Great play call right there, and
what
gets us
Jones
outside.
and what Jones does in the middle sets that up absolutely, and it
Sure.
also makes your favorite play work later on,
Yes.
which we may be getting down to here. It's the typical place they like to throw it going to this end of the field from left to right for some reason into the Warhawks end zone, no less. According to if you've never been to Bird's Nest Stadium, one end zone has Cardinals in red and one has Warhawks in blue. Another hard run by Jones, same play, right up the middle, belly dive to the 27. Give him a gain of 5.
Again, great drive. Another great drive.
Just pounding the rock, 4:22 to play. Clock stops momentarily. Be another timeout. This one's for GRC.
I think GRC's trying to catch their breath a little bit.
Well, that's what happens when you have to tackle 195-pound Montego Jones consecutively on 3 plays like that.
With 200 and some pounders hitting you first.
It makes you want to reevaluate your choices in life.
That's right.
When we come back, it'll be 2nd and 5 at the George Rogers Clark 27. Thanks for joining us on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. I want to thank James Scoggin, our director, producer, as always, doing a great job with the sound tonight, getting us hopefully sounding good out there to you in TV/audio land. We hope you're either watching this on NFHS Network or listening at newsgraphic.com. All the home games will be there, including tomorrow night when Gray Crossing hosts Shelby County. Also want to thank Mike Scoggin back at the office. Thank DT Wells for getting the window clean for you this week so you can see.
That was huge. That was huge.
They take good care of us here. Up in the up here in the heavenlies in the skybox overlooking.
He was asking me if I needed any special aromas up here or some honey for my voice. Just kind of he was calling pretty much calling me a diva. That's what
aromatic candles.
Uh-oh.
Hand off to Jones once again inside the 20.
What's that?
Some big boys colliding out here way behind the play, and the GRC guy,
are they wrestling?
I think, slapped him on the helmet and said no hard feelings. And if you saw the size of the guy he slapped on the helmet, which is Daniel Daff, 250-pound junior.
They're going to just
keep grinding
to the horse. Absolutely.
Mr. Jones to just shy of the 15. Montego has run it 5 of the last, maybe 7 of the last 8 plays on this drive. They'll mark it at the 16. It'll be 2nd down and 7. SC looking to reclaim the lead. They had it most of the night until the touchdown and 2-point conversion tied it about 4 minutes ago. Hand off again to Jones. Faking the throw is Patton. Jones will push the stack forward to the 10. He'll be about a yard shy of the first down.
I don't know if you noticed, but, again, what Coach McKee likes, play out your fakes because there was somebody standing wide open in red in the end zone. So I think it'll come into play before long.
You and I are thinking we like that play, and it's gonna happen once before this night's over, especially against the team that might not be expecting it. 3rd and short, that's Jones' territory, and he will push it ahead, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Cardinals at the 8-yard line with under 3 minutes to play here. And so they have drained much of the remaining time, as we mentioned. It's been a clock-consuming, authoritative drive for Scott County. If they can not leave GRC with much time and then get the ball themselves to start the half,
we're approaching
a good
240,
exchange.
aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Wow.
They're a little less concerned with the tempo now and playing the clock game.
I
think they're trying to drain it down and call a timeout when it gets down.
When
the play clock gets down under 5, they'll use one here. McKee will burn the timeout with 2:23 remaining here in the second quarter. And while we got the opportunity, I want you to pay thanks to our sponsors, some homage to the people that make this possible one more time.
Absolutely. Bluegrass Orthopedics, serving athletes of all ages. Georgetown News Graphic, home of Kal Oakes and the before-mentioned Mike Scoggin, James Scoggin.
Please do subscribe Tuesdays and Fridays, online 24/7.
There you go. There's your plug. Denise Keene, certified public accountant for your tax and auditing needs. Brickhouse Properties Real Estate, buying and selling made easy. Chick-fil-A, home of the original chicken sandwich. Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Kentucky.
Boom, diggity.
There it is. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel. Clark's Pump and Shop with 3 soon-to-be 4 Georgetown locations. Georgetown Community Hospital, where your health and safety remain #1 priority. West Banco, by all accounts, better. Greens Toyota of Lexington. Great people, great cars. Think Greens. Oser Paint and Flooring, your hometown paint and flooring connection. Scott County Veterinary Clinic. We love and treat your pets like our own. Come join Scott County Veterinary Clinic family. People's Bank, working together, building success. Come see us at 101 Canewood Center Drive. Time to Shine Car Wash. Your car will shine at Time to Shine Car Wash. 8 Lexington area locations to serve you. Steve Skierman, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Ready to meet all your insurance needs.
All right, here we go. First and goal from the 8. It's a late developing play to Hamilton, and he won't get back. Well, now he fights forward to the line of scrimmage and somehow gets a yard out of all that. It was an ugly play from the start, as there were GRC defensive players in the backfield, and Patton had to get rid of it in a hurry.
I'm thanking our last 2 sponsors here, Burger King, home of the Whopper, 2 Georgetown locations, and Domino's Pizza. Come check us out. Our new Georgetown location on the corner of Champion Way and US 25.
Thank you all for your support. Montego Jones pushes forward to the 3, where it will be 3rd and goal. So you got 2 chances to punch it in here with 1:45 and now under that to go in the first half. What's your call here? What's your pleasure, Derek?
I may have to go a little Tago on him right here.
I think Tago's the man. You got to let him finish what he started.
Or they may do the jet sweep to. They like doing that to Martin right here as well. If he's back there.
Patton's got the play. No rush as they are letting it tick down. They played the clock game perfectly here at the end of the first half. If they can punch it in. In motion is Hamilton. Now the pitch to Martin, and he will pick up his 2nd touchdown of the night. He has done it all in the first half, and Campton puts SC back in front with 1:09 to go in the second quarter.
Young football players, there's your importance of the weight room. That is a strong, physically strong, from the ground up football player right there. There's guys who play football, and there's football players. Campton Martin is a football player.
Yeah, you can put him anywhere on the field other than maybe offensive line, and he'll get it done.
Very impressive.
Kick by Bange is good. And with 1:09 to play, the lights will come on and flicker and flash, and we will tell you that Scott County's back on top by the score of 21-14. That gives GRC 69 seconds to play with here. Indeed, in the first half. What do you do in that amount of time, Derek? If you're GRC, you've got the weapons. If you can now, do you play that game with Scott County where you do the short kick? I think you're doing them a favor if you do that.
Everything to me is going to depend on the kickoff right here. It depends if they do a short kick and GRC gets any type of return. Yeah, you have Manley back there and you got speedy receivers, so you got to take a chance to maybe, we would normally say get in field goal range, but I just don't think Scott County is going to allow anybody to get any kicks off.
Tago Jones did a lot of the dirty work on what was a 6-minute drive. And finishing up for the second time tonight, Campton Martin, his 5th touchdown of the season.
Jacob and Bange kicking off for Scott County.
Bange will kick it away. He will kick deeper this time, and it'll be caught at the 17. And another good run back, though, on that far sideline. Gets it out to the 35, number 44 for GRC. Hard to find these names up here. And again, lo and behold, no 44 on the roster. I give up. At least we know who the main usual suspects are for those Cardinals.
Let's just go with some this pro guys from no matter what decade or era you can think of. 44 catches in return. We go Riggins on them.
Yeah, we can say Riggins. We could say Miles Jack of the Jaguars would be the current number 44.
There you go.
Might be the guy, the short guy on a kick return. Quick pass, little screen to the slot man to the left. They'll gain 6, but they'll have to hurry up.
And they are. They have their play set. I kind of figured with the arm that Manley has and the passing weapons that they're going to try to get some points on the board here.
Jackson Bryan was the receiver on that play. Almost seems like his name's reversed. Jackson Bryan, Brian Jackson. And somebody will jump. They're pointing at GRC is the Scott County defensive line, but we'll see. The ref is pointing the other way. So I think they're going to march 5 off against the home team. And that will be a first down with 41 seconds to play.
You know, that is a good time to do it's nice to do a different count right there when Scott County's thinking that the GRC's in a hurry.
You can gain 5 yards without using much of the clock in that situation. Get yourself a new set of downs. Another quick throw to the tight end. The big tight end who's going to Tennessee Tech. He certainly is.
That's a hoss.
I can't remember what he's listed at. Dylan Gibson, as far as his size.
They should just say big.
He's a big dude. He's 6'1", 235, it says. He's all of that. He's all of that. Not quite as big as Mr. Mayer, who played for Covcath and now is catching touchdown passes at Notre Dame.
Yep.
Well, not for the next couple of weeks anyway, I guess. Notre Dame's on COVID shutdown, from what I understand. Ball will be placed at the Scott County 48. Not a lot of time, 20 seconds. So you got to come up with something here, a little gimmicky, I think, if you GRC. They've gone deep, but not with a whole lot of success tonight. It's been mostly the underneath stuff that has worked.
He's 1 for 2 on those real deep ones. He completed a long one, and then one was picked by Campton Martin.
Yeah, that one was underthrown. You could see it from
off his back foot. Yeah.
Those of us who've watched Campton Martin play the last 3 weeks knew that one was going to be picked off. He just looks like a different guy. Some guys, their senior year, they know this is it, and they take it to another level, and Campton Martin's been that so far. Shotgun snap to Manley, who will throw deep. He's got a man. Oh, it's dropped, and he had him wide, and I mean wide open.
Who do they have back deep?
Israel came out of the backfield to get that.
It's a wheel route out of the backfield, and I don't know, we got a safety sitting, about 30 yards downfield that just did not even come close to getting there.
Looks like
I don't know if it's
Will Height was trying to give help.
Yes.
It was number 3 back there for Scott County, Logan Jones.
Yeah, Logan,
he's a sophomore.
Yeah, he wasn't even close to
He's not been in the game much at the varsity level this year so far. Pressure there on another deep throw. It's a jump ball. It'll fall incomplete. Good coverage. I think it might have been Hamilton over there.
I don't know if you saw it, but they released the tight end down the middle of the field. You and I were the closest to him, and he did not. I mean, he
didn't see him.
Oh,
he just
my
knew.
goodness, there was nobody around him.
You knew where he was going. It was Jones again. They were testing deep. 9 seconds.
He can get 2 off here.
It's 4th down is the problem they're in.
Gotcha.
4th and 4. So they've got to at least get a first down quick to the sideline to give themselves a chance at that. We'll see what they do. Manley in the shotgun.
There's that tight end down the middle.
He's going to be chased and sacked well behind midfield, and that's going to end the half. Number 76, Isaac Krebs. He's been in the backfield a lot these first 3 weeks, and again tonight.
That was huge.
And that will be a turnover on downs with 3 seconds left. I would think Scott County would probably kneel on it here since they're going to get the second half kickoff. But you never know.
Nope. Put Jeremy Hamilton out wide and throw it.
Hey, what the heck?
Right? Just see what they do with their safeties here. You got to probably almost put feet on goal line.
Surprisingly, they don't have. They're not really deep, but they're certainly looking like they're going to kneel.
Yeah,
and they do.
There we go.
So your halftime score, it's been a good one.
Great
Scott County 21, George Rogers Clark 14. Cardinals over the Cardinals. As your hometown Cardinals look to go 3-0 on the season, but they are in a fight from a good team from Winchester in the 6A ranks. Scott County Band will entertain us, and maybe we'll get some halftime stats to go over. I'm not sure. they've got to be pretty favorable for Scott County, I would think, in
Yeah,
terms
especially
of yardage.
offensively.
They've had the time of
Offensively,
possession for certain, as they had 3 scores and a punt and a kneel, and GRC had a block punt and an interception and a turnover on downs. So 3 of their 5 did not yield points. Want to remind you again, tomorrow night on the Bird's Nest Broadcast Network, it'll be yours truly and Coach Paul Raines bringing you the Great Crossing Shelby County matchup. First time those 2 schools have ever met on the gridiron. Great Crossing looking for the 2nd win in school history. On paper, I think that looks like a winnable game for them, or a game that they should be able to compete in nicely. I was talking with Coach McKee after the game last week, and you never know when he's blowing smoke about the rival and everything, but he thinks Great Crossing, other than Douglas, and I threw Franklin County at him, and he said, well, I don't know about them. And he goes, but he said, other than that, they should win every game, or they should be favored to win every game they play the rest of the year. And I couldn't really argue with him on that. I don't know how they would have fared against Dunbar. Dunbar has improved a lot, but
I told you last week, I was that triple option. When they get kids, that is a potent offense, especially when you have Caleb Perry, who you can put anywhere. You can put him in a slot. You can running back. You can run a wildcat with him. You can throw the ball downfield to him. It's.
I covered a couple of programs up north. One was a college team, and one was a high school team. They both adopted the triple option about 10 years ago, and both had been long-suffering programs that had struggled to do anything. They put that offense in slowly but surely. Within about 2 or 3 years, they were a juggernaut offensively, both of them, and began playing winning football. So it's a kind of offense that you can build a team around, because it's a lot like the wing tee. It's time-consuming. It gives your defense a little extra energy because they're not on the field that much.
So many,
and they can pin their
options.
ears back when they get out there.
Absolutely,
and yes,
so
and
many different options.
And it is called that for a reason. You got a quarterback who can run and throw. It makes it all the more dangerous, and they've got that this year.
I like Broughton's arm. I like the way he was throwing the ball against Scott County. And you're thinking that's a great Scott County defense. So if you take a defense that is a majority of defenses, I'm saying, are probably going to be less that Broughton's going to face, and I think he's going to do well.
They've got all the pieces you need. They've got the big fullback in Colbert. They've got the slot receiver in Coulter. They've got another one in Harris that can Fane, Peyton Harris. They've got some good linemen that are a year older and bigger and stronger and more mature. So it's a program that's headed in the right direction under Coach Ricky Bowling. We're looking forward to that one. A little surprise home game tomorrow night. We didn't expect to see the Warhawks again until second half of the season, but we'll get a bonus on some Saturday Night Lights
Saturday night at the Nest.
Exactly. We'll enjoy it. Busy day in county sports tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning. If you want to join me with my caffeine IV drip, I will be at the Battle of the Birds boys soccer game here on the other side of the A-frame. As Great Crossing, after a 16-day lull for medical reasons, will get back at it for their second game of the season. It'll be against Scott County, which has now played, I think, 8 games. So that'll be an interesting situation. Wow. A little bit of a contrast there. Then in the afternoon over at Scott County High School on the Fieldhouse turf, it'll be the girls soccer team hosting Frankfort. And then here at 7:30, we'll have football. So I'll be a busy boy tomorrow. I think there's some volleyball going on all day, triangular meet at Scott County as well. They're bringing Corbin in and a couple other schools. So that's some action there inside the gym. If you want to add that to your list, you can get a full day of Scott County sports, or you can watch it all right here on the NFHS network for the monthly subscription fee. And of course, you want to follow me on Twitter. I'll have updates on all as well.
That's just as good as watching it.
We try to make it that way.
Yes, sir.
What do you see, if any, adjustments that either of these teams might make in the
Scott County defensively, they're going to, keep putting pressure on Manley, and good things have been happening. But when he's able to get outside of the pocket, that rollout and him getting outside of the pocket has hurt Scott County. He's thrown 2 touchdown passes off that. Why they haven't gone back to that more often, I think a lot of it has to do with Scott County's penetration up front, that they are getting to him, so he's having a hard time. Even the interception he threw was a rollout that he just had to get rid of because of the pressure. And Scott County's just going to have to keep on keeping on and keep the same tempo on offense that that Coach McKee loves, and pounding Tago up the middle, and then hitting the edges, and Campton Martin's running the ball really, really well tonight. So I think they're just going to have to keep doing the same thing, and the offensive line is just going to have to keep imposing their will.
My dude Sam Daniel, who's now playing at Georgetown College, or will be when they take the field in the spring, he says of Campton Martin on Twitter, Mr. Football, question mark, a couple of question marks, straight up producing in all three phases. And if it were that kind of award where, it wasn't sometimes political and sometimes all statistical, I would say yes, because you look at all that he does.
I mean, what doesn't he do?
I mean, he scored 5 touchdowns on the season. He's set up countless others with block kicks. He has blocked 2 PATs, one to save a game against Bryan Station, one that's made a difference in this game already.
Sure.
He blocked a punt tonight. He was part of a block punt with A.J. Young last week. As I said, doing it all except ripping 50-50 tickets and selling popcorn, I guess.
Good point, Sammy D.
Yep. He, of course, running the ball a little bit out of the Wildcat as well. So he's a weapon. He's like a bowling trophy. You just got to find a place to put him.
Right.
He looks good, but where are you going to put him sometimes on offense is the question.
And we didn't even give him credit when we said Zane Patton ran one, and we looked up, and I was like, "That he lit." I said, a little too thick.
I said, and a little too fast,
right,
maybe. I thought, and not selling Zane short, but I was getting ready to.
We both said it. We were like, "Wow, Zane's fast."
And then I saw Zane kind of standing a little too close to where he wouldn't have been standing next to McKee if he had been involved in that play. I was like, no, that's number 5.
The 8s and the 9s are.
So, yeah, well, these numbers, these black on red, if we don't screw up at least one play every night, we're not doing our job. So, Campton Martin has been effective. Montego Jones, of course, has been effective. Zane Patton selling the fakes well, as we mentioned. And the only thing they haven't done is stick that play-action play to the tight end, which I think we'll see before the night's over. Impressed as I can be with the GRC weapons, Dawson Gay.
Ooh.
He's a weapon. That huge tight end, Dylan Gibson, both of them have a touchdown catch. And Jordan Manley throwing the ball. He throws the short stuff well, but he's right on the money with the long stuff. Fortunately for Scott County, they've had it covered most of the time.
Yeah, and I think you're going to come out with Israel and try to establish the run and get him going. But if they can't, they do have the luxury of being able to stand back. I don't mean stand back because Scott County's pressure is really good on Manley, but when he does release it, he's got weapons to throw to.
Scott County, as we mentioned, a couple more home games this year, one for sure next week, as they'll play the Ryle Raiders coming down from Union, Kentucky. And they're always good. We mentioned the history there between those two programs. They had played a barn burner in the playoffs back in 2016. So I think that Ryle team is going to be better this year. They always run the ball very well.
Yep.
They've got some athletes, and they will challenge SC. A little bit of Sir Duke playing in the background. It's good.
Oh,
a little bit of 70s.
Little Stevie?
A little bit of Stevie 70s action.
I'm good with that.
Beyond that, they will have to host Douglas in the district game, as we mentioned. As long as they stay in orange or yellow on the map, that game can happen at some point. We would expect it to happen either Halloween weekend or the weekend following that. Scott County has a bye week the last week of the season, but that could be lost if they have to play that weekend. At this point, Douglas will have to cancel a game. They're scheduled to play both Lexington Catholic and St. X in those last 2 weeks, and one of them will go by the wayside, one would think, in order to play Scott County and make up that district game. Of course, the other teams in the district, Great Crossing, Montgomery County, Grant County.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what Montgomery and Grant bring to the table. They were pretty much in the same conversation with Great Crossing last year. Great Crossing got the win over Grant County and played Montgomery County pretty well straight up. Scott County beat both those teams with ease.
Those were over at halftime.
Yeah. Oh, they were over at the coin flip for the most part. But Scott County testing itself, as always, out of district for that reason with the 6A opponents. They've got Ballard scheduled. Hopefully that game can happen. It's later in the season, October 23rd. And then they go to Lafayette, I believe. So it's out there right now. Some challenges for SC, but really on paper, Douglas probably the only team that's a threat after tonight as far as the one-loss column. But you never know. We didn't think much of Bryan Station coming in here, and they put a world-class scare into the Cardinals.
I was really looking forward to tonight. But this one is going, this game is so good, you forget about Douglas.
I didn't know as much about this team because we hadn't played them in a couple of years.
Right.
I knew they were improved. I knew Dr. Lucas had done great things there. I mean, how many teams have a coach named Doctor anything, for one thing? You immediately get respect when you have that. And then you look at what they accomplished last year, and then you look at the credentials that some of their seniors have and where they're planning to go to school and play. And this is a program on the rise. I read the story back when they hired him. He said, we want to bring the swagger back to GRC football. I think they've got some.
They sure do.
If you can hang in with Scott County for a half and hopefully an entire game, and we'll have a dramatic finish to this one. This kind of reminds me of the games last year with Manual and Ballard. Scott County is getting pushed, and that's good for them in the long run.
Very good.
Talk a little bit about some of the other sports. We mentioned some of the ones being played tomorrow. A lot of the sports have been on the Scott County side due to the COVID situation, but the boys soccer teams won 3 games already. Last year, they only won 4 all season, so that's marked improvement for them, and only 4 seniors. So they're continuing to improve. And, as we've seen in some sports, it's been harder with the split and the addition of a second school. Football, there's probably a talent base long-term to sustain that. But in some of the other sports, basketball too, and in some of the other sports, there's definitely been a tilt one way or the other. But we've seen Scott County volleyball improve. Great Crossing volleyball has played some tough 5-set matches. Get out and support some of these kids. I know it's kind of hard if you're not a parent to get tickets to these games, but check out the NFHS network coverage. Do subscribe to the news graphic and find out what all these kids are doing. And we'll bring you the words and the pictures twice a week. And it's an exciting time to be a Scott County sports fan. And we're just glad that we've got sports right now. I know there's a lot of inconveniences right now with looking at maps and analyzing statistics and wondering if you can even go to the neighboring county and wondering if you'll be next where people won't want to be coming to see you. But we're just happy any night that I can get out of the house and cover a game. That's a good night. And there have been a lot of those more often than not lately. So we're excited about the 2021 season. Basketball is not far. They had the meeting about a week ago. That season's going to start early. It's going to start, in theory, the Monday before Thanksgiving. So I think it's going to be complicated once you bring the usual winter sneezes and sniffles into it. It's going to be tough to play 30 games for everybody, but we're sure enough going to try. And I know the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network will be part of that as well. So we are looking forward to that as we roll halftime down to the conclusion here with a couple of minutes to go.
Both
Scott County will have the ball. They are locked in. They're ready to get back at it. And Scott County will have the ball in theory to start the second half unless there's a surprise up the sleeve of GRC. They pulled the surprise onside. We've seen teams do that to SC in the past because the last thing you really want to do is go back on defense against them. We mentioned they've scored on, I believe, 3 out of the 4 possessions. They had to kick once, but all 4 possessions were pretty fruitful. They moved into GRC territory and scored on 3 of them. Campton Martin with 2 touchdowns, Montego Jones with the other. Defensively, A.J. Young has played well. Kevin Herbert and Isaac Krebs have been in the backfield quite a bit, and that's been the other factor, I think, is the GRC quarterback, Manley, doesn't really have a ton of time to throw.
Scott County's, Kevin Herbert, Krebs, and Mr. Young, they are in the backfield.
They are in his kitchen early. He doesn't have much time to stir up the ingredients. So the officials coming back to midfield, masked up, or getting that way. I don't know if they're like the players and that's considered optional or not. I'm not sure of the rules. I know the fans I see abiding by it, and I know a lot of people just live to try to catch fans not abiding by it, but I can say with confidence that our county schools have done a good job enforcing it, and the parents have done a good job going along with it without too much complaining. We want our kids to play regardless, whatever it's going to take right now to stay on the field and on the court. That's what we're looking at in the year 2020 and into 21. Jim McKee exhorting his team as they go through the final preparations and getting their stretching lines for quarter number 3. Scott County looking to go 3-0, looking to win for the 21st consecutive time against George Rogers Clark. We mentioned that streak dates back to McKee's very first year of 1997. Let me get that chart out. In 1997, on Halloween night, in fact, Scott County defeated Clark County 33-14. And since then, it's been tricks and no treats for Clark County. They have not won since, as they lost 49-0 the next year on the 30th of October. So that must have been the traditional season ender at that point. Then they moved it to earlier in the season. That didn't help. In 2001, in August, 41-21 Scott County, and 44-13 the next year. And then they played pretty regularly every year. There were 2 meetings, so they met in the playoffs in 2009. That was again the case in 2013 and again the case in 2015. And they met in the playoffs in 2017 without a regular season game. That was the last time these two teams met. Scott County came out on top 43-14. And here's the statistic: 20 straight wins, 19 of them by double digits. Only one game was even close like this one in that stretch. I gotta find it on here. I looked at it today. Now 18-15 in 2009, the playoff meeting, after a 40-0 regular season game. So
that's something you do not bring up as the coaches. You not bring that up to your current players.
Well, and it's really all it is history. Most of these guys weren't born when some of those games were played. All these guys weren't born when it first started out, when McKee came to town. And George Rogers Clark went through a few head coaches, I'm sure, in that time. And
Paul Columbia was there for a long time.
The good doctors got them going in the right direction.
Yeah,
and they look like a football program for sure that is going to contend in their district. And you think about the teams that they play: Bryan Station, Madison Central, Oldham County. They should compare favorably to them. And Bryan Station, I think, is going to have something to say about that.
Yep.
They're legit.
I was impressed with them. I was impressed with Great Crossing.
Yeah, I think both those teams are going to win their share of games, and it'll only help whatever the ranking system is, the RPI, as it were, and all those out-of-state ones like what they call it, Cal Preps and Max Preps and Prep this and Prep that. Scott County not showing up in the top 25 yet, but some of that is just a reflection of being down in 5A. Their schedule doesn't get the attention that maybe it did in the past, but they had some quality wins last year, and a lot of that stuff is tied to last year's results, I would think. So I don't know why, but it'll change from week to week.
Definitely will.
In 5A coming in, Scott County ranked number 6 in the AP poll.
Yep.
Frederick Douglass tied for 4th. It would have been a top 6 matchup if that had happened tonight. GRC getting ready to kick off from its own 40-yard line, back deep. The usual suspects, Hamilton and Martin, for Scott County, but I've got $1 that says he's not going to kick to them.
Well, the most depressing part about this whole thing so far is that they just shut off.
Where do we go?
Right.
Where do we go now?
Excellent / we're serenading us.
Man, such a great album from beginning to end. In fact, you can make the case that might be the weakest song on the record.
Appetite
and it's a rock classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, just such a good
You got to
record.
let that roll through. You got to let that
Yep. It'll be picked up by Sailor, who will run east to west and lose yardage. He's going to be corralled and lassoed at a 25. I don't know how much forward progress they're going to give him. They're not going to, as he continued to run backwards trying to make something out of that. So he helped GRC in the long run. It will be 1st down and 10 from the 25. Scott County back in business. They've had the lead most of the way, but it's been a tenuous one. It was tied at 14 until that long drive to end the half, and they certainly have not led by 2 scores. So if they could make a drive out of this that would be helpful.
First 5 minutes for opening drive is just absolutely huge.
You can get their defense kind of on their heels and breathing heavy, as you've said.
As we have all game.
That's been the key.
Yep.
It's been the key for 3 weeks now. Handoff.
Uh-oh.
And it will be a quick handoff, a counter to Martin, I believe, and he will spin out to the 45. Campton gets 18 on that one. That was not what I expected to start the half. We're so used to just seeing the conservative handoff to Montego Jones.
One tackle away from taking it.
He was going to take it to the house. It is 1st and 10 at the 43. Zane Patton under center. He's got Jones behind him. And we're going to have a man in motion, and we're going to have a flag.
Maybe a legal formation.
Saylor was the man in motion. Martin was lined up with Jones.
Somebody started out confused if you didn't see when they first got to the line. Somebody had to switch positions there.
They're going to back it up 5 to the 38. Nope. No, they're going to wave it off, I guess. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was a sideline warning again. Anyway, no harm, no foul. 1st and 10 from the 43. Patton will hand off to Jones, who will run away from the first contact and push ahead for a gain of about 4. Call it 3 to the 46.
I think you need to keep feeding Mr. Martin.
I think you got to feed Martin and Jones alternately.
Yep.
They can do damage just by themselves. Hand off to Martin again around right end to about midfield. That'll make it a 3rd and short situation. Call it about 3.5, maybe 4 if they mark it at the 49 on this side for Scott County. Not quite in GRC territory. It will be 3rd down and 4. Hamilton checks in for Martin. They kind of alternate at that other halfback position as they both play the whole game on defense.
3rd down and 4.
Jackson Saylor will be split out in the slot right. And now there is a flag again. And again, the sideline call. I don't know if it's a penalty this time or McKee saying, what do I have to do? Certainly didn't look like anybody was stepping. They are going to mark off 5 yards. It's the equivalent of a delay of game. It becomes 3rd and 9.
Golly.
That's a tough one to take. You can do so much on 3rd and 4 in this offense. 3rd and 9, not a lot. And it changes your play call. Patton will run it in.
Yeah, 3rd and 5. 3rd and 9 is a lot different from 3rd and 5. Quick out to.
Yep, Patton will drop and throw it to Garner on the other side of midfield. It'll be wrapped up quickly, but they get back most of it. It'll be 4th and 2.
Manageable, very manageable.
Yeah, especially when you've got Montego Jones in the backfield. It's manageable. And when your line is getting the push that they're getting tonight. Under 10 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Scott County nursing a 21-14 lead over George Rogers Clark out of Winchester. Win Vegas.
Yep. Chin Whisker, as a brother of mine calls it. I'm headed over to Chin Whisker.
We're supposed to play the team on the other end of Winchester Road tonight, but
that's right.
We settled on the Cardinals.
Out further Winchester Road.
Mm-hmm. Pitch.
Oh, good cut.
Good cut by Martin because they read it well. Ooh. I was afraid that was going to go for a loss, and instead Martin carries it ahead for another 1st down to the 45 of GRC. So Scott County in business as they extend the drive into WinCard's territory at the 45.
That's depleting to a defense when you get a 3rd and 9 and you have them 3rd and 9 and you look up and they've knocked off 2 great plays.
Hand off to Jones, lots of room up the middle, close to another 1st down. He'll be taken down at the 36. Call it 2nd and 1. Montego Jones just grinding it out.
And we're fresh into the 3rd quarter, and you see the GRC front line is hands on hips. Yeah, absolutely. They're getting pounded on.
They are feeling it. And the longer you keep their offense off the field, the better you are if you're Scott County, I believe. Pretty good defensive effort, though, in the 1st half for SC. Another handoff to Jones. He's not tired yet. He'll get knocked back, but not both. And the guy's celebrating like he just won the Super Bowl, but it's a 1st down.
It's a great tackle.
It was a great tackle. Face guard to face guard.
Uh-huh. But as he's celebrating, he looks up on the board and he sees 1st down Scott County.
Oh, shoot. Yep. 1st and 10 at the 33. Ticks down to 8 minutes to go, and a good portion of this third quarter rather, is going to be gobbled up by the time GRC gets the ball.
We're not far from this.
Oh, fumbled snap. Patton will have to fall on it. That's going to be a wasted play. It'll be 2nd and 10. Good thing he recovered. Haven't seen many fumbled exchanges this year. That's been a bugaboo for the Cardinals in recent years. Gosh, I remember the Douglas game, the first Douglas game last year. It seemed like there were a half dozen of those.
Yes.
And it was just killer. I mean, you can't make that against a team that's that good and get away with it. Plus the penalties. That's going to be a busted play and a sack, I do believe. I think the referees had to wait and see who had the ball, but it was Patton, and he gets taken down by number 97. I want to give him full credit for the sack. It's Ethan Caudill. And it's going to be 3rd and forever. 16 to be exact. Not a lot of plays for 3rd and 16 in the Scott County playbook.
If you remember the play he does run some is the hook and ladder.
They do that at times.
About got it off in the Bryan Station game, if you remember.
Your play action doesn't really work in this situation because they've got to be keyed on the run. There's no way they're going to be keyed on the run. Although I've seen Jones pick up some first downs.
Yep.
It's going to be Martin. He's going to run for his life, try to cut it back inside, get close to the 35. It's a decent game, but it's still going to be 4th and 12. Make it 13. So they need a baker's dozen in order to keep this drive going. They've used up half the third quarter. It will tick down under 6 minutes by the time they snap it. But nothing to show for it.
I would think I would maybe try to pin them a little bit.
Maybe you pooch punt. I don't know. He didn't like the pooch punt last week as Patton put it in the end zone and only ended up being about a net 14-yarder. Down to 10 seconds on the play clock.
Yeah.
4th down.
A long count trying to gain some of that yardage. Now they're going to run it outside. A lot of room. Here it is with Saylor. I don't know. Did he get it? He had to get to the 23, and they're going to mark it right there. We're going to have a measurement.
GRC players are saying he did not. They're saying first down.
Depends where they spot it. And I've got some players and refs both. Yep, they're going to say first down without a measurement. Jackson Saylor with the biggest gain of the night for him, maybe the season. He picks up 13. They needed exactly 13, and Scott County will get a renewed set of downs.
Well, that a depleted defense.
Inside the 25, it sure will. It's now been a 6.5-minute drive. Hand off to Jones, and you can see how depleted they are.
He's going to break one.
He's just running the stuffings out of them right now. Gain of 7 to the 16.
He will break one.
2nd and 3, down to 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. They'll actually mark it at about the 16.5. This is just a backbreaker for GRC.
4th and 13.
That was the play of the game so far, as it extended a drive that looked like it was dead in the water and just keeps the GRC defense on the field even longer. Jones, nothing there as he was met by a stone wall. He'll lose about a half a yard. But again, third, good down and distance situation, and the clock just keeps running. So if you're Scott County, things are going according to plan right now.
Tight end coming, Cal.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to gamble on that. I think maybe a little Campton Martin action or Hamilton.
Quick pitch.
Little counter right.
Yep.
You get the long end of the field going toward the GRC side. We'll see. They're both in the game, Martin and Hamilton. They're going to go with Martin left. He's got the room. He's got the first down. He gets away. He gets his 3rd touchdown of the night.
Great
with
run.
4 minutes exactly. So an 8-minute drive ends in another touchdown run for Camp. And it's going to be a 2-touchdown edge for the Cardinals.
With him wearing number 5, is Christian McCaffrey just a good comparison?
It really is, man. I hadn't thought of that, but that's a great one.
Kind of the same build.
An 8-minute drive ends in a 17-yard touchdown run for Campton Martin.
Flags on the field.
We got flags down. That was blown dead before he kicked it, so they're going to have to kick it again at the very least. Oh, they're going to decline it. They're just going to kick it. I don't think they want to mess up his distance.
Right.
There's no need to go for two. He gets some. I hear some fans down here saying, "Why don't you go for it and take the penalty?" Well, because you need to, do what you do.
Put points on the board.
Yep.
Absolutely, it's a bad snap.
Wilhite does an awfully good job, man. He does what he does.
Because he does what the first thing you're supposed to do as a holder is expect a bad snap. You don't expect it to be on the money. You got to say, hey, I got to go. I got to raise up. I got to go left. I got to go right. And then it's just gravy if it is a good snap.
So 4 for 4 on the PATs is Baines, 12 for 12 on the season, and that drive extended by the run of Jackson Saylor on 4th and 13.
He gets 13 and a half, maybe, or 13.
Yeah, 13 exactly.
13
I mean, they didn't measure it, but I can't imagine why. Campton Martin's third touchdown of the night is a 17-yard scoot, and he makes it look easy when he does it. He spun away from a would-be tackler at the 10, and he got to the pylon.
His stiff arm is just wicked.
Yep, he is, as you said, a football player.
Yes.
Israel is back, number 1 for GRC.
Kickoff by Baines and Scott County, and they have left GRC with only 4 minutes left here in the third quarter. Again along the sideline. This time better pursuit by the Cardinals. Stops them at around the 30.
Kareem Durant with the return.
Caden Marshall on the stop for Scott County. First and 10 at the 29 of GRC. 3:55 to play, third quarter, and we'll finally get to see that vaunted GRC Cards offense again. We haven't seen it in a while. Jackson Manley.
They got plenty of rest.
They do, rested and ready. They haven't been on the field much in the past 16 minutes of clock time, plus the half. Hand off to Israel, Azariah Israel. I haven't called his name or anybody's in a long time. He gained 6. I believe that's his longest run of the night. They've done a great job against the most prolific running back in the state last year, 2,300 yards.
Wow, we've had a couple ambulances and fire trucks screaming over there.
What's going on down on the west side of town? Hope it's nothing too serious. Now they're headed to a stamping ground, it looks like.
Yep.
Second down.
2nd and 4 from the 35. GRC in the shotgun. Manley looks over the middle, well designed and well read by Jeremy Hamilton. Knocked it down, and he signals incomplete. 3rd and 4. Great play by Hamilton, the junior, as we mentioned, being recruited at the D1 level as an all-purpose athlete. Certainly a heavy hitter on defense.
The ATH. That's all you can put beside his name.
And the same goes for Caleb Perry for a great crossing. I don't think anybody really knows. Probably a safety, but, you never know what he may grow into.
Sure.
And if he continues to play wide out in high school, he could be a really dangerous one. 3rd and 4. Manley hands to Israel, who sweeps to the left, cuts back to the middle, gets the first down.
That broke that one.
That'll be his longest run of the night as he gains 10 up to the 44.
He's starting to chip away a little bit.
Azariah Israel. Very biblical name.
Yep.
He's wanting to take the Scott County Cardinals to church here on this drive. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Still no safety over top.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
Bump and
They're
run
really
here.
playing the run hard.
Right.
Oh, bad snap. Gets through the wickets. Israel picks it up on the run, and he might make something out of nothing. Gets to the corner. Now he spins free, and he will gain yardage out to the 47. But he picked the ball up at his own 25. So that tells you how quickly he moved to save that from disaster for GRC. 2nd and 7 is the end result. Krebs finally made the stop. Isaac Krebs. GRC closing in on midfield again. This has been a good one and will continue to be a good one. I just got a feeling GRC not done
no,
yet.
They're not done. They got one back set here with Israel, and they're going to keep feeding him.
Israel finds the seam and gets past midfield. It'll be 3rd and short up to the 48 of Scott County. Down to 2 minutes, 2:05 is where the clock's frozen right now. We've got a flag down over on this sideline. It's going to be a hold, so that's going to come back. That's going to hurt GRC, put them in a bad situation. They were facing 3rd and 2. Now it'll be 2nd and long.
As they're starting to get momentum, they're starting to impose their will up front, and Israel's starting to knock off big runs.
And it's going to be a big one because the spot of the foul was behind the line of scrimmage. So when the marker will be at the 37, so call it 2nd and 17. And have to put the marker back to 2nd down. They haven't done it yet. Hopefully, well, not hopefully. I don't care. I'm right on Scott County side, right? But no, just for the sake of fair play, it should be 2nd and 17.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think they're gonna.
I'm rooting for GRC a little bit tonight just because they agreed to play this game, because I think we're all in agreement that it's nice to be at Bird's Nest Stadium on Friday night. It takes guts to come play Scott County on their place when you haven't beaten them since the turn of the century.
Oh,
that was a little bit of a busted play. I don't know. It was underthrown, and is it picked off? Is it Campton Martin again? They're going to call it incomplete. He picked it up off the turf, they say. He's trying to sell it. Of course, there's no replay.
Well, I think Campton needed to jump up and sell a little harder.
He didn't sell it until after.
Right.
You got to sell it right after. You can't wait. You can't look around for approval. Mm-hmm. You got to pick it up, celebrate,
and run towards your sideline as if it's going to be a
do
turnover.
Like the soccer goal celebration.
Yeah, right.
Pull up your shirt.
Absolutely. Yep.
Do something. Anyway, 3rd and 17.
Just a little tutorial there on how to sell.
Yeah, come on, Cap. I mean, you've done everything else so well tonight, but we got to critique a little bit here. And straight drop, long throw to the tight end who pushed off a little bit and got away with it. I think that's going to be a 1st down as he out-jumped Andrew Wilhite. Gibson makes the catch down at the 34.
With Wilhite being 5'8", 5'9", maybe.
He didn't need much leverage, but he created some more for himself.
With that play, I'm telling you, Cal, they missed it in the first half at least 4 times where he's wide open down the seam.
He didn't miss it that time. He was covered, too. Minute 25 to play, 3rd quarter. Both teams only going to get 1 possession in this period, but they're both trying to make good on it. SC's already scored. And GRC driving at the Scott County 34.
Counter.
Inside handoff counter to Azariah Israel, but he is torn down by Cade Tackett. Tackett stops him after a gain of 1 here on the Scott County sideline. Call it a 1.5 yards. Under a minute, 3rd quarter.
Cade Tackett will put a hat on you too. My goodness.
He loves contact.
Yes.
We got some guys in the red who do not mind hitting you. AJ Young, Cade Tackett, Isaac Krebs, Jeremy Hamilton, Campton Martin. The list goes on.
Andrew Wilhite.
We got a fullback that we haven't seen all night. And AJ Young caught him from behind, and I think Young's cramping up a little bit. He stopped him shy of the 1st down. Once again, a number that is not apparently on the GRC roster on top of everything else. It's a gain out to the 28. It'd be 3rd and 4. Fake to Israel, throw to the tight end. Once again, Wilhite will cover it up, but that's a mismatch right now. 1st down at the 18. Dylan Gibson, and that's nothing against Andrew Wilhite. It's a mismatch against anybody. That was the final play of the 3rd quarter.
And that's even hard for Andrew Wilhite to bring down once he catches it.
So 2 connections on 3rd down from Manley to Gibson. And it's a 2-touchdown margin going into the 4th, but it doesn't feel like one because GRC is close to hanging one on the board here.
Sound check. Okay.
How about some sponsors, Cal?
Let's do it.
Thank you to all of our sponsors. this would not be possible, this Bird's Nest broadcast, without our sponsors. Bluegrass Orthopedics, serving athletes of all ages. Georgetown News Graphic. Denise King, certified public accountant for your tax and auditing needs. Brickhouse Properties Real Estate, buying and selling made easy. Chick-fil-A, home of the original chicken sandwich. Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Kentucky. Easy to say, huh? Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel. Clark's Pump and Shop with 3, soon to be 4 Georgetown locations. Georgetown Community Hospital, where your health and safety remain our number one priority. West Banco, by all accounts, better. Greens Toyota of Lexington, great people, great cars, think Greens. Oster Paint and Flooring, your hometown paint and flooring connection. Scott County Veterinarian Clinic, we love and treat your pets like our own. Come join our Scott County Veterinary Clinic family. People's Bank, working together, building success. Come see us at 101 Canewood Center Drive. Time to Shine Car Wash, your car will shine at Time to Shine Car Wash. 8 Lexington area locations to serve you. Steve Skierman, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, ready to meet all your insurance needs. Burger King, home of the Whopper, 2 Georgetown locations, and Domino's Pizza. Come check out our new Georgetown location on the corner of Champion Way and US 25. That is a good-looking facility if you haven't seen it. I didn't know what 2 stories. My goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, it is right there on
They're doing it
on
upright.
the corner, right? It's like directly across from Ann Mason there on the corner.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah.
Right
yeah,
there where
okay,
the
wow.
Lexway properties
No
are.
kidding. GRC in business at the Scott County 17 to start the fourth quarter. They're down 2 scores. Another handoff to the fullback. He gets tripped up after a very minimal gain.
Isaac Krebs on the tackle.
Krebs made the stop once more. 2nd and 9 for the Winchbirds.
Gain of 1 on the play, 2nd down and 9.
Manley in the shotgun. Low snap again. He's got to pick it up off the turf, and he will get wrapped up for no gain. He was still moving forward, but they blew it dead.
Notice how every time Clark kind of gets something good going, something bad happens.
I think they might have said his knee was down back here, and that's a big play because instead of being at the 16, they're going to be at the 23. That's as good as a sack.
Right.
And it will be 3rd and long.
So when he meant to pick the ball up, his knee hit.
Yeah,
Exactly
it's kind
what
of
happened. Yep.
happens with punters a lot
Right.
too. Now they're having a little bit of a discussion about it, but I believe that's going to be the verdict. So 3rd, and they've got to get to the 8, so 15, maybe 16,
Mm-hmm.
long 15.
We've seen it tonight.
They've got weapons. They've got. We haven't heard from Gay in a while. We have heard from the tight end, Mr. Dylan Gibson. We haven't heard from Dawson Gay since the first quarter, really. Shotgun snap, throw that wheel route again, but it's tough to hit it on a shorter play like that, and it gets knocked down. Is it again Campton Martin? Nope, Caden Marshall.
I was going to say he looked a little smaller than
Yep,
Campbell.
Caden Marshall will be the man this time. It was on the far side of the field. And it's going to be 4th and 16. It's go time. We've seen Scott County convert a 4th and forever with the help of Mr. Jackson Saylor. But now GRC, it's kind of their game is kind of riding on it with 10:53 to go. And they are in, depending on what you call the red zone, either just in it or just outside it at the Scott County 23. Shotgun snap, Manley over the middle, broken up by Campton Martin. Who else? And it will be Scott County ball with 10:47 to play.
That was big. Again, every time he's around the ball, something positive happens, whether it's on offense or defense.
Pass defensed for a turnover on downs with 10:47 left. And this is a good time if you're Scott County for another one of those churning, time-consuming drives. They're scoring drives in both the second, to end the second and in the third quarter, occupied 6 and then 8 minutes. If they can kill the better part of 10, they're going to walk off 3-0 tonight. Hand off to Tago.
You see him flirting with busting one too, right? Every time
Jones is so close to making the last man miss.
And it's always deep in the third, into the fourth quarters when they start just busting through the line.
They just have a hard time catching their breath at that point.
They do.
They've been facing these 12, 13, 14 play drives all night. It'll be second and call it 5 from the 28. Clock ticking down to about 10 minutes now. Scott County in control of the ball and on the scoreboard. They will run wide with Hamilton. He made one man miss. He made two men miss. Now
nice.
He cuts it back inside to the 48. And he stayed in bounds. Smart football play by Jeremy Hamilton, and he'll gain 20.
As he helps the defender
and picks the guy up off the turf.
Jeremy Clem, Toby Jones on the tackle for GRC. That's enough.
Campton Martin will check in for Jeremy Hamilton. He got poked in the eye. He didn't realize it until the adrenaline wore off a little bit, and he said, "Holy cow!"
That or the turf monster came up and got in his eye.
Maybe little chunks of rubber from the from the turf. I don't miss picking those off my clothes after going home from a game, being up here. That's another run by Jones, a little bit left of center. He'll get past midfield to the GRC 48. Tick, tick, tick. Quality performance tonight in all phases. My hard time is going to decide which trophy to give Campton Martin. Do we give him the offensive or do we give him the defensive?
The key to the city? I mean, what do we do?
Right? Give him a lifetime ticket pass to all Scott County athletic events.
Right.
And a quick run by Campton.
The legs.
Just churning forward, getting to the 46.
I don't like seeing that ankle get caught up under the pile.
Nope. He gets up. Gain of 2 will make it 3rd and 4. Maybe we would give the offensive to Martin and the defensive to someone like A.J. Young at this point. I don't know. We can talk it over. Big play to keep the clock moving. 3rd and 4 for Scott County. Hand off to Jones. Nope, it's Hamilton. Sorry.
Hamilton, yeah.
Thought it was the first. I'm used to seeing it was the first man through, but the first man through was Hamilton this time. Pushes it down to the 43. They're facing 4th and a yard. 8 minutes to play. In fact, it will tick under 8 minutes. They can get it down to about 7.5 before they have to snap it. It's really not even a yard. Well, yeah, I guess it's a complete yard by the time they place it. I think I know who'll probably get the ball. It's who I thought got the ball in the last play and who I thought would.
4th down and 1.
Miracle will snap it to Patton. They know what's coming, and it doesn't matter anyway. Montego Jones to the house, and that might make our offensive player of the game choice a little easier. 44 yards, and that was John Riggins-esque on 4th and 1 from Super Bowl 17. And that should just about do it with 7:24 to play.
Minus the neck roll.
Yep. Yeah, he didn't have the neck roll going.
We'll hide the hold.
Bange kicking his 5th PAT of the night, getting ready to. It is good, as you can hear from the train whistle. 3-touchdown advantage with 7:24 to play. The Cardinals looking to go 3-0 here at the Bird's Nest. Been a good night for Montego Jones. I'm sure he's over the century mark and then some now. Campton Martin, 3 touchdowns again, but he has done it all defensively. Let's see, blocked a PAT on special teams, blocked a punt on special teams, intercepted a pass, knocked down another to end a drive. It's getting pretty easy to hand out these plaques every week. It has been a team effort for the Cards to get to this point, though. They can hit you in so many ways on offense, and everybody on defense hits you at one time or another if you're an opponent.
So many ways.
Baines
So many
kicks
weapons.
it to the 20 where it's taken in.
And that's what you have to do with that kickoff is try to get it to the middle of the field.
They keep the man shy of the 30.
Jackson Saylor in on the tackle.
Caleb McIntosh on the return. I'd like to get at least one GRC name in there other than the 2 or 3 we've called. Some of their numbers just don't match up, but they've got some serious pieces of the puzzle themselves. They're going to be 0-2 after tonight, more than likely, but they're going to win their share.
But you know what? Look at their scheduling right now.
Oh, yeah.
You went to Southwestern and lose by 2. And, oh, by the way, we picked up Scott County, and we're going to Georgetown.
You went to a team that's a perennial threat to get second, third round of the playoffs in Southwestern, and a team that's a perennial threat to get to state
to win it, yeah,
every year in Scott County. Not backing down from anybody. Another low snap. He'll get it to Israel. Israel gets some room on the outside and pick up a first down and stop the clock as he gets out of bounds with 7:12 to play. That's what you got to do if you're GRC. You got to score quickly and
get chunks right here.
Use as little time as possible.
Get chunks, go for 2, onside kick.
Or go for 1 onside kick. Go for anything in an onside kick. You got to get the ball back a couple of times to have a chance. But when it comes right down to it, the difference is they just have not been able to stop Scott County. And it's been vintage Scott County. It's been churning forward 5 yards, 10 yards at a time most of the night. And that play is going to come back.
Oh, wow.
Guess it was a hold. Either a hold or an illegal shift or something of that nature. It's going to be 5 after it's marked off, so it's 1st and 15 from the 24. I didn't see the signal.
Neither.
I didn't even see the flag. It was kind of a late developing play. He hurried the handoff to Israel after the ball was on the turf. They picked the ball up off the turf quite a few times tonight. Snaps and fumbled exchanges.
Yeah, they've kind of self-imploded a little bit tonight.
A little bit. They've hurt themselves with penalties too.
Not with a lot of them, but the situation that they're in. When they were 3rd and 2 a couple times rolling, and they would do something, they would lose. They would mishandle a snap, and they'd end up 3rd and 9. The little things that they need to correct.
You have to play about a perfect game to have a chance to win at Scott County.
Yeah, I think they're a fine team.
Shotgun snap. He's going to roll out. Can't find anything. He finds the sideline, runs to the 12th man, and stops the clock with 7:05 to play. Does Mr. Manley. Herbert ran him out of bounds. Big number 99. He covered a lot of territory to do that. Ball will be spotted at the 26. It'll be 2nd and 13. Gain of 2. For Jackson Manley. They have not thrown the ball as much as I thought they would tonight. They used the tight end effectively on that last drive. Manley tried to keep it again and got swarmed. Elijah Adams was there, number 41, with the big stop.
That call. They need to throw the ball downfield.
I just don't get what they're trying to accomplish here.
Jeez. Well, what they're accomplishing is eating that clock, and that's their enemy right now.
You've got some really good weapons to catch the ball.
Yeah.
You've got
over the middle. They get
big tight end. I guess my question is we haven't seen Mr. Gay since early in the game. Has he dinged? Right. He's here, so he's on the field, but he's been mostly used as a decoy. That pass gets knocked down, and I think Scott County got there a little early because flags flying in from everywhere. It's going to be pass interference. Yep. And a 15-yarder that will move the chains with 6:24 left. Yeah, it was on the far side of the field once again. I don't believe it was Campton. Jeremy sometimes likes to do the good-looking pass breakup and get in there just a moment too early. He times his move usually pretty well, but it will move forward to the 41-yard line of GRC where they will refresh the down marker. But time's not on their side.
Monty McIntyre still working as hard as his defense is.
He runs like a track and field coach there on the sideline. Like to see his step counter. Manley under duress.
Make that tackle.
He makes a couple of guys miss. He's going to get pushed back behind the original line of scrimmage and out of bounds. I guess maybe it's coverage stuff. I mean,
I
everything's covered downfield.
Yeah.
You got to credit the Scott County defense for that. Manley has not been able to get rid of the ball quickly. Part of the problem has been some of those low snaps.
I was going to say the snap. He's catching everything off the turf.
And then by the time he looks downfield,
look at my man in front of me. Go, yo, come on.
By the time he looks downfield, it's all covered.
Right. At least hit me in the thighs. You don't have to hit me in the chest.
And it's another thing with the the RPO, that offensive scheme that's just another element you're adding to it. It's another thing that can go wrong. Is that snap in that?
Well, obviously, and your most important man is the man's got to snap the ball back to the quarterback.
That's it. I mean, that's vital to it. Anything less than perfect there, and you're behind the 8 ball. And if you have a good enough quarterback athletically, he can get you out of trouble a lot of times. I don't think Manley is that kind of mobile guy. He's a big, solid, well-built quarterback, but I don't think he's a runner.
Coach McIntyre called.
He's a little bit sore right now. You can tell by the way he's walking gingerly off the field. We are going to have a timeout with 6:04 to play. Scott County well in control of this one, 35-14. It was tied late in the first half. Scott County with a time-consuming drive to go ahead right before the half, and then they came out and hung an 8-minute drive to start the second to really swing this one in their favor. They've tacked another one on a long run by Montego Jones to lead by 3 scores here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. NFHS Network, newsgraphic.com. Please do check newsgraphic.com for the game story tonight around midnight. Certainly first thing when you wake up in the morning, you'll have the whole enchilada there with all the quotes and thoughts from Jim McKee, Campton Martin, probably Montego Jones if we can get a word out of him edgewise.
Very quiet.
Very quiet, unassuming young man. He sees me coming with the plaque every week. He's like, oh, no. I'm like, last week, I was like, no, I'm not going to talk to you. I'll just take a picture and we'll be done.
Comes from a great stock, a great
man,
family.
Can you imagine? He's of course, in the family tree of Monty McIntyre.
Yes, absolutely. Rumble, young man, rumble.
Back when I was talking to him opening night, Monty came running over. That's my nephew. Said, I know it. Another throw. Lots of time to throw for Manley, but he can't find anyone. Finally just gets rid of it at the feet of, I think, Gay on the sideline.
A little short hop.
Third and a mile. Down in distance has not been kind to GRC in the second half due to penalties and some busted plays and just covered receivers for the most part. Now we have another penalty. It looks like it's going to be a hold. Are they just going to decline it?
Yeah.
It was an ineligible man downfield, which often happens when the quarterback runs for his life like that. It's tough to hold your block. And
get a lineman sneak down there and doesn't even know he's doing it.
Now they don't know what down it is over there. Marker says second. I think it's supposed to be third. It said third a moment ago. I think they moved it in the wrong direction. Okay, now it's third.
Third down, 13.
Jackson Manley been running for his life in this second half. Takes the shotgun snap one more time. It's a jailbreak in the backfield. He gets his man a little screen, but there were 4 Cardinals right there to smother it just past the 40.
Right. I'm thinking if they do that, I don't know why maybe they didn't do a middle screen there. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, that's...
they had the jailbreak.
It's kind of what it was, but yeah, you're right. He went in the opposite direction over toward the visiting sidelines. 4th and 10 is the end result. Do or die here for the Winchester boys. 5:22 to go. Certainly a tall mountain to climb. Another low snap, and the play whistled dead. He found the tight end, but it's because Scott County let off the gas when they heard the whistle. False start will back it up even further. 4th and 15. 5:17 to play. Scott County well in control. They're going to be 3-0 at the end of this night with Ryle coming to town. It's now a schedule of 5 home games as they'll have to play Douglas toward the end of the season.
Was that November you said?
It'll be a date to be determined. It'll either be October 30th or November 6th, I believe. It's going to put Douglas in position of having to cancel a game against a pretty good opponent, which they're not going to be happy with, but at least they'll get to play Scott County.
Right.
Manley looking, nothing, gets taken down. Herbert there. It's going to be a turnover on downs again. And Scott County can pretty much run it out here with 5:10 left.
I think they can probably keep it that long. Lots of clock management here.
$5:10 to play.
Hats off to that defense. My goodness. I mean, Israel, he had several carries, so I'm sure he's close to 100 or maybe a little bit over 100, but nothing to where he had great big runs and he hurt us all night. He was very much caged up tonight. He really was.
He didn't have any of longer than 10 yards that counted. He was little chunks of 2, 3, 4, 5 most of the night.
I'll say they had 40 seconds on the play clock.
We either have blood or something. Paul Garner is going to have to run all the way across the field and have a substitute as the official sends him off, and Luttrell will come out. Taylor Luttrell, number 23. Ball spotted at the GRC 39. Sailor in motion. Handoff is to Hamilton. And he gets up to the 36. Picks his man up off the turf after running him over for a gain of 3.
Tick, tick, tick.
GRC brought a bunch of buses tonight.
Yeah, they did.
They were social distancing the best they could, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what that is. Because there's, did they bring cheerleaders?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
And that's probably where
smartest thing to do.
Right.
And of course, Mr. Tackett took some abuse at the last meeting for saying that they're non-essential.
Right.
But at a football game in a time where we're trying to minimize contact, he was taken out of context, I do believe. Now we got a timeout. I do feel for the cheerleaders because it's going to be hard for them to have competitions, I think, in this era.
Yep, it is.
They probably work more closely together at both practice and competitions than just about anyone. And we're talking long practices and competitions too. So Scott County cheerleaders are here in good voice as we can hear them up here over the crowd of, we said, a decent crowd.
Yep.
Came from Winchester. I think some of them might be beating the traffic now.
Cal, you got a Cats and Auburn prediction tomorrow at noon?
Boy, the Cats fans seem awfully confident.
Well, I think I know. There's just so many factors going. We got a lot of people returning. Yeah. They got hit pretty hard.
This certainly looks like, on paper, UK's best team in forever. Problem is the schedule's the toughest it's been in forever.
It is.
I mean, I think that's been the missing piece the last 3 or 4 years. They've been on the upswing. They haven't had to play some of the real heavyweights,
right? And
they're going to have to now.
Right. And and you look at you're not going to have 90,000 at Auburn.
That helps. Or Alabama.
I don't know if the War Eagles even going to swoop in tomorrow.
Handoff smothered quickly as Sailor taken down. Good play by GRC there to throw him for a loss.
Jeremy Clem on the tackle.
Back to the market at the 41. Actually inside the 41. They only lose about 1.5 yards. Under 4 minutes to go. I'll go with UK tomorrow. What the heck? We'll say Cats. What time's that kickoff again?
That is noon. NBC Network.
Well, I might get to see some of it.
And I do like them to stay within inside the 7.5. That Auburn's favored by 7.5.
We've Brian Hudson and Virginia Tech starting their season tomorrow. Campton Martin with room on the edge once more, and he breaks away. First down, gain of 20, down inside the 20.
Campton said, "I'll put one more on you."
Man, if he can score 4 times, it'd be hard not to give him both of these trophies. Hudson going to be starting, I believe, at left guard tomorrow for Virginia Tech. I saw on the depth chart after being center all of last season. Guess the center who he was replacing is back from injury or whatever it was.
which obviously Brian was injured in the bowl game.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was injured at the end of the season and played a whole game or two with it. They didn't really use him much in the bowl game because of it. They used him in the final regular season game. Another handoff straight up the middle. I think they got some fresh bodies in the game now. That looks like a JV running back.
Jeremy Quinn, Terrell Baker, on the tackle.
Yeah, Hayden Jones got the carry that time. It was not Montego Jones. It was the same play we see from Montego Jones.
And the same last name.
Indeed, indeed. And one of the same numbers on the jersey, number 20, is Hayden Jones, as opposed to number 2 is
right.
Jim McKee getting the Friday Night Lights exposure for some younger kids now. (35-14). Ball at the 15. George Rogers Clark, great of them to come and stand in tonight. We just can't say that enough.
Awesome.
To do that on a well, Coach McKee called them on Wednesday, but it was kind of a tentative agreement at that point, knowing what was probably going to go down, and then to find out at 3:30, 4 o'clock on Thursday afternoon to finally commit to go play Scott County, a team that's won 10 games every year for the past 12, longest streak in the state, a team that's beaten you 20 straight times.
This will be 21.
21, but game opponent for sure, and the score not indicative, I would say, in a lot of ways. Hand off again. This time it's Paul Garner spinning to gain something out of nothing. Gets about a yard.
Do we still have, is Zane still?
Zane is under center. There's someone coming in to replace him now as he high fives, low fives out of the game. It'll be Thomas Fikert. Fikert, number 13. He's a sophomore, 5'10", 160 pounds.
No, he was. No, there goes Zane back.
Oh,
up.
okay.
Yeah, I think he was just coming in and slapping 5 with him while Zane.
I'm not sure what that was all about, but looked like he was running to go into the game,
right.
And now Zane rushes back out.
What in the world are they stopping the game?
Yeah, we got a timeout again for GRC as they're confused about something. It'll be 3rd and 6 when we ever do get this game going again. 2:06 to play. It's been a fairly fast-moving game with the long drives until now. Our producer, James Scoggin, is a big Auburn fan and would like to chime in on the UK Auburn. Yeah. He says War Eagle.
That's not officially how you say it, but we won't say it.
Yeah. WDE.
Right. I love it that way.
Mm-hmm.
To hear a true Auburn fan say it, it's the best.
Yep.
Especially when they called into the Fine Bomb show.
Oh, man.
It's the best.
Gotta love the Fine Bomb show. It's good to have SEC football back tomorrow. Just a sense of normalcy. Just about every league except the MAC, and I see Mac did too.
Yep.
It's unanimous.
That's what I said. Mac.
We got a full complement of D1 conferences going at it.
That's Tuesday night football.
That's
right.
Now we've got all 7 days of the week covered.
Right. Except for Wednesday. I don't think.
Oh, somebody's got to play on a Wednesday.
Right.
I mean, social distancing, right?
That's
you got to distance the calendar. I don't know. Patton under center once more. 3rd and 6. Straight handoff. Hayden Jones is going to go to the end zone untouched for his first varsity touchdown. He's going to run like Forrest Gump into the tunnel. And it's another score for Scott County with 2:01 to play.
And I don't know if GRC did that to get the ball back for whatever reason, but he was untouched.
That wasn't like the Packers in the Super Bowl. Bain's going to kick another PAT. He's perfect on the season, and I hope I didn't jinx it. Good.
Right off the field house.
42-14 is your score. Probably going to be your final score. We'll see. 2:01 left. Yeah, that was like the parting of the Red Sea.
Well, we didn't say Hayden Jones till he almost Forrest Gumped it and landed.
Well, I thought it was. I thought maybe he just sold the fake really well, and I don't know. He had the ball. I think he was surprised a little bit himself.
Right.
Well, I'm torn about the awards. I'm really torn. Do we want to call out another defensive player and give Campton the offensive, or I'm sure Montego's over 100 yards.
Yeah.
He's going to get sick of me taking his picture after games.
Is that Mr. Young on defense?
Yeah, we can spread it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's go with AJ Young
defense and
Campton Martin on offense. I think that's a good decision. We want to call out our sponsors.
Sold.
DMK CPA is the offensive player of the game. That'll be Campton Martin tonight. And Brickhouse Properties, your defensive player of the game, will be AJ Young. That sounds good to me. Tago's going to get his share. He's already got 2 at home.
And congratulations to those young men. Fine game tonight.
They played well. Start to finish, this was an impressive performance when you consider all the obstacles that went into it. As GRC returns the kick out past the 35.
You know, Scott County looked crisper. You know, I mean, there's obviously, because I asked Coach the other day, I said, what's your practice schedule look like tomorrow? And he goes, 7 a.m. And I went, well, I won't be making that one.
And this tells me something about Scott County, dude. Their base defense is really, really good.
Oh, yeah. Really good.
Because that's what that's what you got to play. No matter when you bring in an opponent on one day's notice, you're just going to go play to your strength, do what you do well. And what they did well really took away everything downfield. I think there were some adjustments at halftime that made it even harder for Manley to throw the ball or to even find receivers. Now he flings one way, way, way deep.
Golly,
Closest man was Logan Jones. Andrew Wilhite was there as well. It was pretty much double coverage on Israel. Falls incomplete.
Israel's hurt a little bit.
Yeah, he's cramping, I think.
Yeah, it's a long run.
Pulled up lame, and it's going to be a long walk back to the sideline. As
that was a long run for no results.
Yeah, and his calf is locking up on him. 1:45 to play. In the Battle of the Cardinals, we had the Battle of the Birds last week, or the Battle of the Birds this week. The Raiders are coming to town next week.
That's right.
We've got Birds and Rockets tomorrow night as Shelby County. I know I'm going to screw it up and say Shelby Valley at some point, but Shelby County is coming to play Great Crossing.
Back before 2 high schools, Shelby County was like Scott County because there was no Collins, so that all that community in Shelbyville, they all went to one high school, big high school, just like Scott County, and just have not been the same since.
Similar situation. You got to really have the personnel and the sports tradition to back it up. Good run there by the fullback for the first down. That whole name thing reminds me of the other night. I covered a soccer game, Scott County against somebody, and one of the referees went to Scott High School. So he was an hour away and didn't arrive until halftime of that game. So a lot of schools in the state have similar names.
Yes.
And it's difficult. In Scott County territory is GRC. They'll give it to the first man through again. He's going to be the guy, as Israel, I think, is probably done for the night.
Yeah.
He's sore. He felt it from the Scott County defense.
Yeah, they beat on him pretty good. And of course, as hard as he runs and as many times as he runs, he's going to be sore.
At the 41 after a gain of 6, ticking down to a minute. Quick throw out to the left-hand side. Stripped.
Nice.
Recovered quickly by GRC, though. Good heads-up play by Gay, who falls on it. Gay, other than the touchdown pass, has been very, very quiet. I don't think he's caught one since. That was the first time we've called his name offensively. I think he recovered maybe one other fumble, too.
Yeah, and they threw one to him to open the game, and the next one was his touchdown catch.
That was it. Early in the game, first quarter. They only got the tight end involved a little bit. Touchdown for him. Now they'll get it to Gay inside the 30. They are down to 20 seconds. This is where GRC, how bad do you want to try to score? You're going to use a timeout.
The first down for GRC.
It's all academic.
I would. I kind of, I like ending on
a high similar note to what Great Crossing tried to do last week.
Let's end on a good note.
And most teams do that. You like to give yourself a running start into the following week. Scott County going to be 3-0. Typical start for the Cardinals for sure, but it's been a challenging 3-0. They've been tested, certainly by Bryan Station, certainly the first half tonight, and at times by Great Crossing. Great Crossing was able to stretch the field a little bit and do some nice things. So they've seen different styles, and they've handled them all. They're certain to get another test from a 6A opponent in Ryle next week, and then it's hitting the road for a little while. In the district, Montgomery and Grant. Manley, another jailbreak and another screen to the tight end. He's caught his share tonight, has Dylan Gibson. Under down to 9 seconds. They are in the red zone.
Yep. They're going to throw to the end zone.
I'm going to give it a shot down at the 12-yard line. GRC trying to get a cosmetic touchdown here. 6-5. Spike. Now they're going to spike with 3 seconds. 2. Clock ran a little bit more than it probably should have, but
that's the home team clock.
Yeah. Yeah, usually there's an official running it, but it's usually a official emeritus who lives nearby, from my experience.
Coach McKee's got the bucket hat on.
He's ready to go.
He's ready.
He's ready to hit the bus or whatever they rode here in. Coach McKee, I think the having a new school and having being in a new division and class and district has fired him up a little bit. He's ready to go another 10 years.
Nobody's going to outwork him. I promise you that.
No. Final play of the game, barring a penalty, Manley will run for his life. We've said that a few times. And a sack ends it just like last week.
Who got him right there?
Luke Colvin with the sack to end it.
Right.
And seems like big plays and big stops were the theme of the night. Final score from Bird's Nest Stadium is Scott County 42, George Rogers Clark 14. Another impressive win for the Cardinals, Derek Varney.
Very impressive. And as I said, I know Scott County's practicing harder. You know, Coach McKee, you got to take into account COVID, and I know he's doing everything he can, you know, to abide by the rules, but yet he's getting his reps in, and these kids are improving every single game, and they're impressive right now.
21st consecutive win in the series. And the Cards are 3-0. Remind you of the players of the game. DMK CPA offensive player of the game is Campton Martin. Your Brickhouse Properties defensive player of the game is AJ Young. Any final thoughts, Derek, before we sign off?
No, just again, Scott County continues to improve. They're going to be scary, and look forward to the coming weeks.
Tomorrow night, we'll remind you, myself, along with Paul Raines, will be here to call the action. Great Crossing versus Shelby County. What do we got? A presentation here? He's thanking the fans, I guess, or something. Coach McKee, always going to get the last word.
Absolutely.
Giving a round of applause to his team and inciting the fans a little bit. On behalf of James Scoggin, our producer, Mike Scoggin, our publisher, DT Wells, head of the district side of the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network, and on behalf of Derek Varney, I'm merely Kal Oakes saying good night and God bless. Thank you again for joining us. Final score one more time. Scott County 42, George Rogers Clark 14. See you next time, everybody.
Good night.